Maybe raw one. Guess you better stick around to find out. It is honestly just a clickbait title. What's up, Bomara? How you doing? That? What does that mean? What the fudge? Guys, guys. Joined a cult. Now, I know most people wouldn't admit that they've joined a cult. Generally, they try to break you of that. But, I'm admitting it. Singing it loud and proud, brother. I've joined a cult. Dear Lord, have mercy on my soul. And he does, Gina. He does have Lord on my soul. Dear Lord, Lord Jesus. Jesus in heaven, Lord Gina. Oh, Gina. I don't know why we brought Gina into this. It's her own damn fault. Just trying to finish eating and get my ducks in a row here. And then we're going to get things started. If you're stumbling in for the first time, welcome. Right now what you're seeing is Happy Crab. It's a Dance move that I invented and copyrighted myself. I have, that's right, you can patent dance moves. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. That was called YMVCDCCD. I don't remember what it stands for, but it was pretty good at the time. It was a very effective message. This is called Fish Out of Water. Now that's called Mean Mugging. I don't know if you like that. I don't know if you know if you've ever heard of that, but it's a very well-known dance move from the 1987s. That's called My World Has Turned. That's called a 90-degree world turned to a rough-cut robot. There you go. Into pure celebration. I mean, that's what joy looks like. You know? Oh, there they go. Whoop. That's right. Clap out of time. There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Didn't even look like his hands connected on the last one. Going. Ooh, oh, so smooth. So smooth. Ooh. Into a washing the heavens. Into a free bird, I believe. Very textbook. Very textbook. He's going for a third one. And a fourth. For no explicable reason. And now it's time for bed. It's a little bit of sleepy time. Sleepy time tea. Oh boy, he is just a growing boy. What's up, Top 5? And we're into the karate chop. We're into karate chop and a karate chop. And down into a funky chicken. The background here is actually a fully animated scene from the Simpsons episode that contains the steamed ham memes. In a static-looking magic eye effect. If you've ever seen those before, those used to be those books from when I was a child, which was about 1 million years ago, when you would essentially just cross your eyes and see a hidden image. This one being a fully animated scene of the steamed hams scene from the Simpsons episode. That's how deep I wanted the lore to go here. No one really understands my visions here, you know? There's a full narrative to this, and I don't think anyone's ever watched it the full way through. But by gummit, it's a good one. It's a good one. Alright, well I think I currently have my ducks finally in a row. You know, it always takes a little bit, and even now, even right this very, very, very moment, you know, the camera's a little bit off. It could be better. Could be placed a little better.
Can I stress for the?
But you know, what can you do? Hasty setup. Hi to anybody who's been saying hi in the vertical stream, which is the YouTube stream most likely. There are 2 YouTube streams. That one just happens to be the vertical. The default vertical. Although Twitch now has integrated vertical into its setup. So, cool. I didn't know that until recently. And I'm pretty happy to have found out. I like it. Adjust this. At least like center me a little bit, you know? What's up, guys? This is the intro portion of the live stream, which is why you probably don't see too much stuff happening right now. This is where I go, what's up? I say hello to everyone, and we just kind of shoot the shit for a little bit before we get into today's topic, which is not super juicy. I mean, I think that if you've been abreast of any modern day politics, then you are pretty well versed in the whole, like, what's woke, what's not woke, that whole thing, that whole phenomena, that whole culture wars thing. It's still, I guess, an ongoing issue. And like I didn't think that it was a thing that still needed to be addressed. Like I thought the smart people knew what was up and the dumb people were just gonna keep being dumb. But I guess I don't know. I guess it's a thing. And so we'll talk a little bit about that today. We're gonna define woke for all of you, those of you who are sitting on the edge of your seats, just champing at the bit to learn what the term woke means. And then we're gonna read through some stuff. We're basically going to talk about how I am now part of a cult. Okay, and I'm not afraid to admit it. All right, not afraid to admit it. So stick around, hang out, and we'll do the damn thing. Does it look like I'm zoomed in on the vertical? It feels like I look like I'm zoomed in. I don't know why that appears to be. And everyone just says fuck off. Jesus. That does not sound like fun. What cult did you join? Apparently I joined the cult of woke leftist atheists. That is apparently the cult that I am a member of. I don't know if this is like specifically me or if this was meant to be a joke, or like not joke, but like hey, look, here's something funny that people will pass around, you know. So we're gonna take a look. It is a thing that I received in my Discord, and we're gonna take a look at it. We're gonna take a look. It's just a short document, and then we're gonna watch some videos that might maybe help us become less woke. You know, hey, maybe I'll even find God today. You know, you're gonna have to stick around to find out. And really, the only thing that's different between the intro portion and right now is just that I lower the music a little bit. Welcome, I'm Goose. What's up? Today we're gonna talk about wokeism. I've joined a cult. Do you want to guess what that cult is? The cult of woke leftist atheism. That's right. I don't know that it's necessarily something that I signed up for. I was never recruited into this particular cult. But, you know, I think I get accused of being in a cult all the time. So I'm going to lean into it, and we're going to embrace the nature of secret societies. And we're going to really be that shady person in the dark who is worshiping Baal or whatever, you know? And I think that's what's going to be able to fuel either. Well, I mean, and you never know. Maybe taking a look deep inside to the world of wokeism is going to shake us loose. You know, get us through the pipe, right? What's up, Sonny Jim? How's it going? Philippe, happy Pride? I guess it's over, but it's never really over, is it? The struggle continues. So, what is woke? I mean, I think that, you know, a lot of people who are bad at arguing or bad at getting their point across tend to lean on some very strict definitions for words, specifically dictionary definitions, because oftentimes dictionary definitions are sort of broad and vague and really general, which is sort of kind of what they're designed to be. That's kind of how you make a definition that can fully encompass what the meaning of the word is without getting too super specific and alienating any specific areas of study or focus. So I get it. But it's easy to hide behind dictionary definitions. You don't necessarily need those, right? And so, like, if I was to say what woke is, I probably wouldn't go to the dictionary to try and define it. And I don't think that, like, it's entirely necessary that you ignore the dictionary definition, because they're for a reason. And we can take a look at it if you really, really need to see it. But the way that I would define woke, if someone was to ask me what it means, how you would define it in my own tongue, and I just pulled up the dictionary definition, so I'm not going to look at that to get any influences. What I would say, I don't want to block the camera either. Okay, what I would say is Woke is a sort of cultural stance that took place recently in wake of the George Floyd killing, and is typically meant to signify that you're aware of the systemic injustices that have been perpetrated against minorities, people of color, and like marginalized peoples like trans and gay peoples and queer people, LGBTQ, whatever. And being aware of it, and then being of the morally social position that you would like to oppose it. So say like, if I was to be against, like, say, PragerU trying to pass school materials off that whitewash slavery and completely erase, gay rights and civil rights and things like that. If I was to oppose that, that would make me woke. So I'm aware of a systemic injustice. I'm aware of a social injustice. I'm aware of some kind of slight against marginalized or exploited peoples, and I want to do something to alleviate that. I want to do something to help. I want to make that not a thing anymore, I don't want those people to be marginalized. I think that everybody should be. And anyone who's watched my previous live streams would know, tipping is a thing that I comment on a lot. And what I say, my most common argument there is I think everybody should be making a living wage. Everyone, doesn't matter what your position is. I think that you should be making a living wage. Minimum should absolutely mean that it's the minimum to live on, meaning like you can get, you can have a phone, you can have groceries, you can have your bills paid. That's the minimum to live on. So minimum should be up to that standard at the very least. So everyone deserves a living wage. Hang on, sorry, I'm receiving a text. Coming back on Friday. So, somebody brought a new fridge for us, and it's very cool that we got a new fridge. It's very fancy and shiny and new and everything. It works really well. But they didn't... Apparently they had... The owner of the building had paid for the door to be switched in its orientation, and it seemed to me like he was saying that nobody had authorized that when they came and did the thing. And so... felt a little shady. I'm not sure if he was trying to get extra money out of me or something, but anyway, that's what I think woke is. I think I got it okay, but let me read the dictionary definition for you, just so you know I'm not trying to gaslight you. All right. Let me switch my vertical scene here. Oh, I just have to adjust this. Oh, nope, not that. Come on, there we go. Hello. Guys, it's my last ever morning stream. Can you believe it? It's the last morning stream. We're only going to be going to night streams from now on. That's actually what the title was about. It's not actually Raw One, if you were concerned. All right. Very quickly, we'll just take a real quick look at what the dictionary definition says. Popped a huge pimple on the underside of my butt crack. The thing that oozed out was clear, stick with a little bit of blood. Okay. Go on. Keep giving me engagement. I'm happy to have you. Adjective. Alert to and concerned about social injustice and discrimination. Stop texting me! Can I be a cultist as well if you want? I mean, if you think like this, then you are already a member. All right, so again, this is a little bit of a tepid definition, I would say. The way that I define it, I think, is a little bit more acceptable, I guess? Acceptable? Let me move this chat window so that you can see this text if you want. I think, this is already... There's already a chat in the mobile version, I believe, but just in case, I don't know. I don't know if there is or not. But I want you to be able to read this if you so choose. And I won't move it on the horizontal. Although what I will do is I'll condense this. There you go. Should be easier to read now. Put it in the center. All right. So, increase all of that, and then we'll take that, put that right here in the center. Sorry, I'm trying to organize my space here. It helps me think easier, and it helps you guys actually, understand what I'm saying. All right. So, I received this, not received, but in my Discord, if you're aware. Join the Discord if you'd like. There is a section called Memes and Media. Dipsomaniac, I don't remember who that is. If you want to call yourself out, feel free, but I don't remember who that is. Linked me this. I don't know if they wrote it, and I don't know if it's what they believe, but it's something that was sent to me. So, let's take a look. By the way, join the Discord. I will make a thing. There you go. Join the Discord. Paste. Hiya. Pin message. Hiya. Pin message. And I'll put it in the Twitch chat as well, just in case it's not there. I think it is, but, you never know. You never know. I cannot pin it, though. So yeah, if you need to be on this, then let me know. Alright. So, what did I mean by last stream? Last stream. That's what it says on one of the titles, not all of them. I'm not leaving, I'm just moving to evenings. I am going to be streaming at 5 p.m. Most days, including Saturday. So that's it. That's really the only difference. It's the only thing that has changed. But that really just means that you'll be able to watch me at a more comfortable hour, unless you live across the world, in which case that's probably less comfortable for you. All right, so again, I don't know if the person who sent this to me is the one who wrote it. I simply know that I received it, nor do I know if that's what they believe. But let's just read this. It's not very long, and I guess I'll speed myself up to 1.5 times speed so that you don't have to, since this is a live stream. All right, let's see how quickly I can read it. Hang on. I gotta exercise my voice real quick. Hiya! You get voiceover stuff. Shut up. I splashed water in my nose. It's up there and it's cold. It's refreshing and cold, but it's up in my nose. Really wakes you up. Okay. Dear God. All right. I wish we weren't still talking about this shit in the year of our Lord 2026, but here we go. Okay. The cult of atheism isn't a claim about atheism itself, it's a critique of what certain online communities have become, particularly in the wake of Atheism Plus and the cultural shifts it brought. Even figures like Derek Lambert, host of Myth Vision, who was once aligned with this movement, have publicly walked away, citing the toxic, coercive culture that now defines it. When people talk about a cult of atheism, they're not referring to your average skeptic or classical atheist. They're pointing to a socio-political movement that has traded philosophy for tribal groupthink, where loyalty to the narrative outweighs the pursuit of truth. Now, right away, I got a problem with this. What a fucking hypocrite. Okay, the author of this is entirely self-aware while writing the first paragraph. The cult of atheism that they're talking about is like BreadTube, So like if you've ever watched fucking what's his name, Vosh, or if you've ever watched the Surf Times, or any of those bigger channels, and that used to do debates that really no longer kind of do that stuff. It's really genetically modified skeptic. All those people like that aren't necessarily like science communicators, they're scientists or anything like that. They're not really specialists in their field. They just kind of comment on like news and stories and things like that, typically of a political nature. Sometimes they do funny comedy stuff or video game stuff. I'm a little more variety than that, but that's kind of what they're talking about here. This whole thing is just a critique of essentially YouTube and social media. I guess you could say, like, I don't know what atheism plus is. Let me look that up real quick. Maybe it describes exactly what I'm trying to say. Atheism plus. So describe as feminism minus A plus crowd indicate an utter hatred dissent. Oh, okay. So yeah, it seems like that's kind of what I'm trying to talk about. So it's like, if you don't agree with us, we're gonna like take you down. I'm gonna post hit piece after hit piece until you're gone from the internet. That's typically what this cult of atheism is talking about. So bread tubers, you know, people who cover drama, people who cover lolcows, people who spill the tea over this kind of stuff. But I really wish they were writing in front of a mirror, because this is exactly what Christians and MAGA both do. And atheists are on the back foot here. You guys, both MAGA is like a larger majority of the voting populace, so in the US. So you guys are in control right now. Christians, the most predominant religion in the world, the fastest spreading religion in the world, like, that is also, I would say, a leg up. You know, all those genocides and that ethnic cleansing and stuff, you know, you guys have made your bones already. So when someone pushes against being proselytized to, or pushes against being converted violently in ancient times cases, that's not an attack on Christianity. Nor is it a cult. Like, we don't have to form secrets. Nobody's born religious, so we don't have to form secret societies that hide from religion. You guys had to hide from us in the beginning. Well, other religions, I guess. Babylonian religions, Sumerian religions, stuff like that. The problem is that you guys try to impress your beliefs upon other people, and they have to defend themselves. That's what this first paragraph is pointing out. So, like, it's not our way or the highway. It's leave us the fuck alone. And I don't think that's too much to ask. I mean, as long as we let you fucking live the way that you want, then you just gotta turn around and do the same thing. So let's get into the definition of terms, I guess, right? We gotta know what a cult is. We gotta know what a leftist is. We gotta know what an atheist is, okay? All right? This is universal to everybody, just so you know. Someone took the time to write this. They believe it's well enough that they didn't have to edit it, so they just, it is a certain enough claim that they can make that they fully believe that this is firmly true for reality, okay? Let's just make sure that we are fully clear that whatever example that they point out is representative of the entire leftist woke atheist community, okay? All right? Make sure you keep that in mind. All right? God damn it. Let's get our terms straight. Thank the Lord. Okay? As Steve McRae has rightly pointed out, I don't know who that is. Is he the author of the dictionary? Or is he the guy who comes up with all the meanings for these terms that we're using? We're on shaky ground a little bit already, but I'll let it play. Atheism is not simply a lack of belief. Stephen McRae, I'm going to have to disagree with you. It clearly means that it's a lack of belief, good sir. So we're going to mark a -1 on that one. So far, we've got -2 for credibility. I don't know how much lower we can get, but we'll continue. Atheism is not simply a lack of belief. Yes, it is. That's the so-called lack-theism position. No, that's the definition of the word. Often used to dodge epistemic accountability. Projection. Hypocrisy. And yet, this is precisely the definition the ACA proudly broadcasts on its official website. So, one website for one agency for a group that is as nebulous as atheists? There are atheists like me who simply don't believe that God exists, but there are atheists who also hate religion, who don't think that any religion should ever exist. They're going to go and vote for people like removing religion from places. Oh, you're not allowed to have churches anymore. They would do that, you know. Oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, just get rid of religion. Like that's the other side of the spectrum. But there's a whole like millions and millions and billions of people out there who just don't believe in God, who just have a lack of belief. So you can't just narrow the definition the way that you want for something that is so incredibly broad and vague, that encompasses so many human beings. That's the same shit. That's like the same shit that like people in, that like racists do. All black people do this. All Jews think that. Same shit. Special 9668, you are definitely interested in the topic. I've heard this on Bible study. A missionary said to God, I do anything you ask. God said to the missionary to bite someone in the ear. I tell you who he resisted and said that is too much. The next day God said this to this person. He did it to the man who he bite in the ear. Got on his knees and cried. He did because he said, I will believe that you exist. Someone today. What the fuck are you talking about? Can you put that into like English? Can you put that into blue collar speak, please? I used to look up Bible quotes. Not used to, I still do, but I don't know what that one's supposed to have to do with what we're talking about right now. So, you know, just like sum it up for me if you can. So again, the ACA is the Austin Council of Atheists, or Austin Circle of Atheists, or something like that. But they like, that's a group of maybe a couple hundred people. And you're using this as a cudgel to justify generalizing millions of people, which again is something that racists do. I would not like to be lumped in with them if I were you. The ACA, again with the ACA, holy shit, also claims... Oh wait, hang on. I didn't finish the paragraph. I barely even started. Sorry. Okay, we define atheism as a lack of belief in gods. This definition also encompasses what most people call agnosticism, which is not something that is anywhere on their website. It's presented almost like a badge of honor, as though conflating belief and knowledge into a single fuzzy category is somehow intellectually virtuous. Well, no. Again, it's a defense. It's when people come call and try to convert you into Christianity, that's when you say, oh, no, thank you, I don't believe in God. And then you say, well, why don't you believe in God? It's like, I don't know. I live just fine not believing in God. But don't you want to be saved? Don't you want to not burn in hell? Well, I don't believe in any of that stuff, so that's not where I'm going. But don't you wonder what happens when you die? Well, no, not particularly. Unsheathe the sword. Well, now you're gonna find out! It's presented almost like a badge of honor, as though conflating belief in... But this move does the opposite of what they claim to value. It avoids specificity because we don't know. Oh, well, I know exactly what happens when you die. You go to heaven and you talk to St. Peter and he talked like, okay, well, how do you know that that's real? Oh, we don't. We just have faith. Okay. You know in your bones. And that's enough for you. It's not enough for everybody. And it doesn't make you right either. I know that I'm right. I just know. I know 100% that I'm right. I'm just so convinced that I am right. And there are just as many millions of people who are convinced that you're wrong. And they have just as much of agency and autonomy to be as right as you. Just as passionate as you are. More so, even, there are people who have religions that would kill over their religion, as is evidenced by a lot of the conflict going on in the Middle East, and you're just sitting there in your basement. I know that trans people aren't real. I know they're not real. We have to fight. We have to fight. ironically undermining the critical thinking they claim to. It dodges burden. Well, the burden's on the person who's making the claim, which is that God exists. Oh, hey, the wind's blowing? Must be some kind of like geothermal shit going on. Oh no, God did that. Okay. Go on. The ACA also claims to promote secular humanism and critical thinking through outreach, podcasts, and community events. But what we increasingly see is not free thought, but enforced thought. No. Wrong. Only the Bible has a set of rules and edicts that you're supposed to follow. If what you're talking about is like hate speech, like if you're saying that I don't know. I don't know why you would claim that atheism is in any way restrictive. That's gotta be the most shit take I've ever heard in my entire life. Atheism is a complete unburdening of everything. You even said so in your last sentence of the previous paragraph. So either you're disingenuous or you're stupid. The fact is, every once in a while an atheist transfers to Christianity. True. People convert all the time for many different reasons. Why do you think Christians place themselves in positions where people are at their most vulnerable? AA, prisons, hospitals. Why do you think that they've worked it so much that they actually have government contracts with these places for a 501c charity? Or is it 501c? 38c? 501c? Someone confirm that for me. I don't remember the filing. Seems shady. The fact that also the fact that the 12 steps specifically say that you have to give yourself over to a higher power, that's pretty shady, man. So yeah, people convert for all kinds of different reasons. Oftentimes it's coercion. Which is really sad for Christianity's numbers, man. It's not a good look. If I was Christian, I would be somewhat pressed. Because, you know, if you coerce people to follow you, eventually they're going to find out that it's a grift, and then they're going to revolt. You know, even though born-agains are some of the most fervent Christians that I've ever met. The ACA also claims to promote secular humanism and critical thinking through outreach podcasts and community events, but what we increasingly see is not free thought, but enforced thought. Shows like The Atheist Experience, Talk Heathen, Truth Wanted, and now The Line have become gatekeepers for a narrow worldview. 4 channels. How many people in total? Maybe like 100? If we're talking about all production staff, producers, editors, everyone involved, who may not even believe what these people believe, especially editors. So you got 4 channels, maybe 100 people. And we're saying that that somehow is representative of an entire community of atheists. Again, you could bring me 1 million people, and you could say, these people all believe that Christians should be dead. And I would say, okay, I mean, that's not the rest of us. Go ahead, go bring them to justice. Do whatever you think you need to do. Like, that's between you guys. They believe something that is completely aberrant to the rest of us. So why frame it the wrong way? To fit your narrative. My grandparents made my dad convert to Catholic to marry my mom. Sex is a powerful motivator, man. Sex is if you have the chance, if basically your family told you that in order to be, God, I'm being such a nosy neighbor right now. If your family told you your entire life that you had to be pious and a virgin until you got married, and you have hormones like a normal person, you're probably trying to find ways, or you repress, but you're trying to find ways to pound on shit. You're trying to find ways to like get around, get through the loopholes, figuratively and literally, and you know, get your freak on. And if you deny those urges, it's going to come out in weird ways. Why do you think so many people have such weird fetishes? Especially since the 50s, when we had the nuclear family. Wives aren't on speed anymore. They have dreams again. And they're dreaming about some shit. The power is not the church because Jesus only helped people. Okay, demons are removed, which is power play, but helping is not power. First, how do you know that Jesus was divine? Second, how do you know that demons ever existed or do exist? How do you know that beyond a shadow of a doubt? How do you know that God is not just a demon? speaking in your ear. How do you know? How do you know for sure? I know it in my bones. Yeah, but you gotta take it on faith. And he's called the great deceiver for a reason. How do you know? You won't know until you fucking die. Isn't that scary? No, because I've got faith. Okay. It's not just anti-theist, but dogmatically progressive. See, there's the thing. There's the secret that has sort of subtly revealed itself. This paper clearly, just and calling it a paper is very generous, just wants to make a point about progressivism. They don't like woke leftist atheists, and they're trying to make an empirical study, again, being very generous. They're trying to make some kind of study that takes a very small sample size of only sections of an entire group of people that encompasses all different kinds and backgrounds. Just because you're mad at progressivism. Come on, man. Progression is good. Why do you think it's called progress? It means we're moving forward. Conservatism. What do you think? Why do you think people call it conservatism? It's because you want to conserve your way of life, your classical view, the view that you grew nostalgic over, the standard of life that you've become accustomed to, the beliefs that you have held for such a long time being called into question. But that's healthy, man. That's healthy. Revisiting shit that you made up your mind on 10 years ago is healthy. It means you're growing as a person. Which is, oh my God, that's woke. Holy shit! Moderators on these platforms have developed reputations for banning dissenting voices on site, often for merely challenging their ideological presuppositions. Just bring up names like best name ever, don't know, or offer, maybe this was like a glitch in the GP program they used to generate this, but I don't know anyone named best name ever, and I watch the line a lot. Or offer even mild skepticism on gender ideology. See, that was the dog. They're not even doing dog whistles. The dog whistle would have been if they had said something radical gender ideology. But instead they just said this and this because and then gender ideology. Where is it? Skepticism, yeah. Or even offer mild skepticism on gender ideology. So what are you saying? Are you going to provide samples of the things that you say, or are you just going to leave the audience to assume? Because that's a bit of a bad look if you know what to look for, you know, if you're a smart person, because it means that you're just saying hateful things. If you just say hateful things that deny the existence of actual, like, groups of people that do exist, and I mean, like, even if I'm to steel man all of your arguments, like trans people don't exist. Yes, they do. Human beings exist. Even if you believe that it is a mental illness, or even if you believe they're crazy or they're weird, no matter what you believe, they are still people. So it doesn't matter if you agree with them or not, trans people exist. And having a different discussion on that is what's a way higher priority than just saying, nope, I don't believe it, sorry, no sir, no sirree Bob. Or even my blah blah blah. The conversation shuts down even when the critique is respectful. So I have to assume, because you put that caveat there, even when the critique is respectful, that you're not using respectful critique. I have to assume. Again, I think that most people, especially on the progressive side, tend to be higher educated, and they tend to be more open to diverse ideas. So even if the idea is directly in opposition to what they believe, they're still probably willing to hear it, as long as you put it in a non-hateful and civil manner. If you're not just pushing back on people going like, nope, typical trannies, nope, typical R-slurs, nope, nope, you guys are just fucking dumb, nope, I'm not gonna change, no, I'm not even gonna listen to you. If you act like that, and you go into someone's chat, and you just act a fool like that, then they're probably gonna ban you. Or if you go in like saying like, you know, bannable words and shit, like they couldn't ban you. Like this is again someone just whining because they got banned from a chat or too many chats. And they're just like, I need to figure this out. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this whole fucking woke leftist atheist goddamn cult. Goddamn illegals! And then your circle accepts you because they're equally hateful, and because you can all get together and talk about how much you hate just fucking specific groups of people. That's a support group. So just so you know, that's called psychology. That's actually what therapists can do for you. It's a little more expensive than a hobby, but they're more qualified, for sure. Especially if you're going to go and write something like this. I went into a place I don't like and now I'm upset. Where'd you go? Did you go into a store that you're unfamiliar with and you had to look for something obscure like fig jam? And then you're like, I don't know where the fig jam is. Oh my God. Somebody help me. And you're like texting, whoever asked, your mom or your granddad. Like, Granddad, I don't know where the fig jam is. God damn it, I told you gotta cut. And you can't understand his voice because he's just old. Sounds like it would be. There's no hate towards people. Jesus only loved people. Yeah, you ever heard the term there's no love like Christian hate? Or there's no hate like Christian love. You ever heard that before? People say it for a reason. It's because you come off like trying to love someone while genociding and ethnically cleansing nations. And I mean, Jesus is not Christians. Jesus was Jesus. He was a person who is not here right now. And the people who represent him are kind of fuck asses, if you'll forgive the term. Sometimes. Can be fuck asses. Can kind of on occasion be massive fuck asses. Especially exploiting people and converting them in their most vulnerable states, just like I said before, which you kind of seem to have ignored. Just saying. This goes beyond content moderation. No, it doesn't. If you are making a toxic and dangerous community for the other chatters, then they will ban you. That's how all chats work for all live streams. If you go in and you're not an existing member of the community, and you go in and you try to say stuff in opposition to whatever they believe, doesn't matter what, and it gets heated at all, likely the antagonizer will be the one who is banned. That's literally how it works. That's how moderation is specifically designed. So yes, it does stay within the confines of content moderation and does not go beyond. Good sir. Your paper sucks so far. It reveals a deeper problem. Selective skepticism. Nope. Not really. Is skepticism in what? You're encouraged to question 2,000 years of theology, but not the sacred tenets of the modern progressive ideology. Well, no, you see, when somebody does science and we discover a new thing, our job is to incorporate that into whatever our current belief system is and let it change that current belief system if it goes against what our current beliefs are. I don't know how I'm supposed to be explaining this to people. Like, this is for kids. This is something that kids learn. The reason why we get to the places that we are in science is because we've tested things, and when we learn new things, we incorporate them into the cultural zeitgeist. That's how humans work. That's how we spread ideas. So when the scientists, when they publish a paper and they send it on down to the public, when it's like peer reviewed and all that kind of stuff, when it's solidified, when it's been tested and reproduced, and people find it to be sound, then the cultural zeitgeist changes. The cultural knowledge changes. It's then disseminated through medical journals and then doctors to their patients. That's how we learn new things about our bodies and about how our bodies work and about how to keep ourselves, functioning on this planet. So we're always questioning the current science because we're always learning new things that teaches us shit that we didn't know before. So there is no unwavering belief in scientific methodology that defines how progressive ideology works right now. There's no just set standards. We only just had the fucking LGBTQIA alphabet bullshit. We only just had that like of the last 10 years. Like we didn't even have most people like saying anything about LGBTQ. It's like, oh, that's a gay dude, or oh, that's a gay girl, or like, oh, Tommy had a sex change operation, now Tommy's Tina. Like there's no trans terminology. Like there wasn't any fitting, like LGBTQ acceptable like terms or anything like that. So shit evolves over time, and like that's literally us questioning modern progressive ideology by conducting new science and applying that to the culture wars. The discourse in the culture wars. Fuck, man. How do you just ignore most of recorded history in order to make your point? Do you think people just exist parallel to Christianity and they're just sitting there like just existing and not doing anything with their lives? Like we're creating fucking futuristic technology over here, man. You guys are still reading the same book. Jesus. If you'll forgive my my words, there's no culture wars, there's only spiritual battle. If you see it as a battle, that creates a wedge between us. You see what I'm saying? Like, we just want to live our lives. You guys want to kill us. Or condemn us to hell. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the problem. We didn't start anything. Christians started it. Like, that's what we're speaking from, a place of taking defense against you guys. So that's the fact that you said that just proves that you guys think that you're in some kind of a war against the people that you don't agree with. Do you know how easy it is? Like, how easy it is. I mean, I'm being sarcastic, but do you think that it's easier or harder to find common ground with someone who wants you dead? Which do you think? And then like MAGA would tell me, well, I'm not myself. I'm a gay or anything, but like I don't really label myself. But like if I was gay and I was trying to have a debate with a MAGA person, one of the most common things they say is like, just go to Iran, they'll throw you off a roof. First of all, that's not happening in mass. But secondly, like, I can still want, well, whatever. I'm just going to go off on a whole tangent there, but I don't really want to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, it's not easy to relate to people who think that you're a demon, or who want you to die or be condemned to hell, or who save you on pain of going to hell. Those are not good stances to take. Those are not humanistic stances to take. And you may not want to be a humanitarian. You may just want to be a hateful person who just wants people to burn for all of eternity. But I don't particularly want to be that way. So I don't see this as a battle. I use culture wars as like an ironic term because it's not a war. It's just people shouting at each other. You guys actually bring swords. That's the problem. Always been the problem. It's Christians all the way down, my friend. Refuse to state your pronouns or hesitate on some element of gender theory, and you're not treated as a fellow thinker, you're treated as a threat. That's not free thought, that's dogma dressed in secular clothing. This is definitely written by AI. Refuse to state your pronouns. If you're doing that, then you're actively antagonizing. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you're doing that, if you're calling into these shows, like let's use The Line as an example. Everyone who calls in good faith just says the pronouns. They just say, oh, he, him. Even if I don't like trans people, I just would say, oh, he, him, if I wanted to have a good faith discussion. So when you go in there and you refuse to state your pronouns, that automatically raises red flags because you are specifically stating that you're not willing to participate in the format of the show. That means that you're just calling to talk shit. You're just calling to try and like say something that you think is going to convince people to not be trans or gay. That's the problem. That is the problem. So all you got to do is just say he, him, she, they, whatever. And then you can say what your points are. Then you can say what your great argument is. You know, like acting actively antagonist antagonistic to the people who are hosting you, who are allowing you to go onto their show to say whatever soapbox point you want. They're in charge of the show. They get to define the rules. And if you resist that, they know that you are there to raise hell, and they're not going to let you. Plain and simple. If you want to have a good faith discussion, you got to at least have some flexibility. You got to be willing to take on some challenges in order to prove your point or speak your point or whatever, or be heard and valued. Doesn't everybody want to be valued? Hesitate on some element of gender theory. It's very easy to know that you are anti-trans, and that's what the underlying message to whatever dog whistles that you're using is. If you hesitate when asked about gender ideology or gender theory, whatever you're labeling as this, if you're asked about trans people, and you've got this script you're going by, you've got these things in your head that you're trying to rattle off, and you hesitate on that question, then people listening are going to know what the real message is about. That's just humans recognizing when other humans are trying to be deceitful. So that's not anything that the line is doing. That's not anything that a rash, woke atheist cult is doing to you. You're doing that to yourself. If you don't just come out and say, I don't believe that trans people deserve a place in society. I mean, that sounds hateful, doesn't it? And so if you feel shame or if you feel uncomfortable sharing that or something, that means you need to do self-reflection. That means you need to figure out why you hesitate. And they're certainly not going to cover that on that show. God is good. How is God good when he creates natural disasters that kill innocent people? God is good. Would a good God create human beings with omniscience? He can see all throughout time and space. He can see into the future. He knows exactly who's going to end up going to hell or not. He creates people knowing that they're going to reject him because they have free will or because they're atheist or whatever, whatever reason. And he knows they're going to go to hell. Is that good? Or is that like sadistic? It sounds more like Satan to me. It sounds more like what you guys talk about when you talk about Satan. So no, God isn't technically good. His very being, his very existence would mean that he cannot be good. So I don't know why you would think that, unless you were somehow indoctrinated. Could it be? Could it be? The calls are coming from inside the house? What we're witnessing is the ritualization of ideology. That is gobbledygook. Unless you can define that, it means fuck all. The cultic behavior doesn't emerge from atheism as a metaphysical position. It emerges from the cultural surrounding figures like Matt Dillahunty. From the culture surrounding figures like Matt Dillahunty. For some reason, he's become less a debater and more a guru to the pseudo-intellectual. Right, so you don't like Matt Dillahunty. Okay. It doesn't mean that what he's doing is forming a cult because he debates on his channel with theists. People follow him. You guys know that like public figures are followed by people. They're called fans, and they'll typically follow your work, and they'll typically support you when you go do things. It's really not that weird. Really not really a cult either. They don't shun their own members when they disagree. They allow diverse thought and questioning and stuff. So I don't know. Being valued. God values people. You don't know that God exists. People value people wrongly compared to God. You don't know that God exists, and so therefore you don't know how he values people. You're not addressing anything I'm saying. You're just saying what you want, which is not how a discussion works. Special. If you want to actually have a discussion, I'm happy to do that. But you're just kind of seeming to preach at the moment, For some, he's much less a debater, yada yada. What? How dare you, music? Sorry, I have to pick something new. Come on. All Rest assured, no matter how fallacious the argument, Matt's followers will naturally allow such forthcomings of Matt to go unnoticed. Yet, fans will typically agree with you even if you're wrong. That doesn't mean that they're representative of the entire scientific community, that they're representative of the entire community in general, or what the majority of people think, which is typically in agreement with that. Typically in agreement with what Matt Dillahunty would say on occasion. I'm just saying. Is the Laugh live stream thing clickbait, or are you done? I'm moving to evenings. I will be working on videos during the day, and so I'll be filming all of my actual like production value level stuff during the day. I'm just gonna try it for a while and see if it works. And then in the evenings, I'll be settling down to stream. Because it takes way less energy to just click a few buttons on and like put a thumbnail together and stuff like that than it does to set up the green screen, to set up all my cameras and tripods, then to get stuff filmed, read a script, get it, you know, make sure that I have all of the takes done. Like I have like 3 videos I need to make. Goose is wrong about WoW Classic, but he doesn't represent the WoW community. Exactly. Exactly. Most people agree with me, though, that WoW Classic sucks. Don't check up on that. WoW's a dead game. Yeah. His followers, often self-styled rationalists, frequently parrot his arguments without understanding their structure. Disagreement is met with not with discourse but derision. Debate becomes a loyalty test, and fittingly, Dillahunty's own show is called The Hang-Up, a name that seems more prophetic than intended. No, that's what was intended. I don't know why you would miss the joke intentionally. Like, you're stepping into the path of the bullet when you do that. That's dumb. Okay, I bet you get more viewers in the evening. I think so. But I'm probably going to be more passive in the evening, and plus my wife will be sleeping, so I won't be able to be like loud or anything. I won't be able to speak at full volume. I don't know how the hell I'm going to do it. You think you do, but you don't. I do what? I do what? And I don't what? You didn't say anything in response to what I said, which is, how do you know that God exists? How do you know that demons exist? How do you know that God is good? Like I said, you're not having a discussion, you're really just talking at me, that's boring. So, you know, probably change that before you get banned, I would say. When a theist caller challenges him and things get too rocky, he can always take solace in knowing his trigger finger is never far from the disconnect button. Yeah, I mean, when people get uppity, when people get angry, and they start like calling him a douchebag and shit, of course. And if you don't listen, if you don't actually like, that's the thing. Like people want to have good faith discussions, and people like Matt Dillahunty, who's been doing this shit for like what 20 fucking years. He's probably tired of the bullshit by now. WoW Classic? You think you do? Wait, so I mean, Skippy said that I don't represent the WoW community. Why would you think that I do think I represent the WoW community? I barely talked about WoW on this stream, you weirdo. WoW Classic sucks. I hate it. I think most people don't like retail. I think that's the current opinion, but I'm not entirely sure. I think that's the popular opinion. Don't shoot the messenger. But I think people are kind of over WoW at this point. I'm playing it, but just because I'm easily addicted to skywriting for some reason. I just will skyride everywhere and just have fun. I just love seeing the sights and shit. I'm lost, hopelessly lost. I will never play WoW Classic. Never. Never. Unless Classic Plus comes out. It might convince me. God damn it. And then there's the ideological litmus testing around LGBTQ plus identity. On some shows, callers are asked for their pronouns as a prerequisite for respectful engagement. Yeah, that shows that you're willing to engage respectfully. Yes, I'm surprised that you were able to say it and yet not understand what you wrote, or I guess what ChatGPT wrote. That's not about politeness, that's about compliance. Nope. It's about showing whether or not you're actually going to play ball. And if you're willing to put skin in the game, then the other person's willing to interlock with you. When a theist declines even politely, the conversation often collapses, not over theological substance, but over cultural allegiance. Well, what you do when you talk to somebody in this type of discourse is you engage in something called a social contract, right? That social contract is not meant to make people comply with things. It is simply just rules that we have agreed on as a society since we formed. And that's to be civil to one another when the occasion calls for it. And part of being civil is by sometimes adhering to things that you wouldn't necessarily do. So like if you're going to a fucking Japanese person's house and you know that the culture is all around surrounding taking your fucking shoes off, you're not just going to leave your fucking shoes on. You're going to take your shoes off when you go to a fucking Japanese person's house. You're going into the atheism house. All you got to do is say what your pronouns are. If that doesn't mean anything culturally, and that's why people stick with that, because they know that it's a hot button for you because you avoided answering it. That's what makes it ridiculous. They just want to know if you're a he or a she. They just want to know how they're supposed to address you. And to you guys, it's like some fucking conspiracy. Oh no, I don't want that stream challenge up. We're not running that right now. Thank God that wasn't actually drawing people to follow on Twitch, because I was not expecting it. You would have gotten some gift subs out of me today. You think you do, but you don't was the infamous quote from former Blizzard engineer or entertainment president J. Allen bracket BlizzCon 2013 dismissing fans' request for vanilla World of Warcraft servers. And then Classic came out, you know, and the truth was told. So no, it's not cultural allegiance, you fucking asshole. Like it's because we're just all members of the same fucking human race, and we're all just trying to goddamn talk to each other. And to make it easier to talk to each other, they need to fucking know if they're gonna say, oh, this guy's nuts or this girl's nuts. That's it. That's really it. That's how it starts. But when you show that you're not willing to comply with that, when you show that you're not willing to play the fucking game the way that it's supposed to be played, not only you're not being a rebel. Like, this isn't like respectable. Like, this is stupid. It just shows that you're all smoke and no fire. But like when you do that, like they know immediately right off the bat that you're not going to play ball. Just like Forrest Valkai is a really good example of that. I don't like how nerdy he is, but that's just my own personal taste. He's a great guy, and I think he's doing really good work. And when he hears someone who refuses to give their pronouns, he's like, hang on, I want to stick with that. Perfect. Which is perfect. Because if you're going to get caught up in a discussion about trans people, then like you're going to look like a much worse Christian in the end if you stick with that than if you just went, oh, well, I'm really happy to just talk about religion. And then if you just say, oh, I'm a he, I'm sorry, I'm a he. I really want to talk about the subject that I called to talk about, and I don't necessarily feel any one way or other about anything else. I just want to talk about this. I'm sorry, he or she. Or he or they. He, they, she, him, I don't care. Just do it. Just start the show. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, dude. But the ideology doesn't stop at atheism or gender identity. It extends deep into the political sphere. Yes, everything that surrounds our culture is going to be political in nature. The people that say, oh, well, I'm not involved in politics. Yes, you fucking are! Did you buy a fucking Starbucks? Then you're engaging in politics, global politics, in fact. Like, come on. That's such a strange way to look at it. Oh, man. Every decision that you make when you're in a society is absolutely political. Because you pass the laws that govern Like, you vote for or against, or don't vote for the laws that govern how much things cost. So your inaction or action, or influence, your decision making, all have political consequences. So everything you do is political. Every conversation you have is political. Every stance you take is political. Stop with the fucking, like, oh, I'm apolitical. Stop with that bullshit. You're being a baby. Don't be a baby. We need men in this fight. We need, like, and I don't mean men like in a misogynistic way, but I mean, like, we don't need, like, little crying boys who are, like, toxic and manosphere adherents. We need people who can grow up to be well-adjusted men who aren't all, like, obsessed with power and shit, you know? That'd be cool, wouldn't it? These communities have fused with what's commonly referred to as the woke left cult, which, if you're just using the words to define the words, I don't think you've done a good job in writing a paper. I would say that that's a pretty big nail in the coffin to most essays, is that when they try to define the word that they're trying to define with the words in the body of how they're trying to define the words. What's sleep? Oh, it's when you sleep. Thank you. It doesn't tell anyone anything. What is the woke left cult? What is woke? What is the left? What is a cult? Unfortunately, I hate to go no but you, but I mean, MAGA people and Christians, they really fall way more into the definition of a cult than anyone on the left or anyone who's an atheist. Like, Christianity was the world's biggest cult for a very long time. They had to operate in the shadows and were somewhat persecuted back in the days when it first became a pretty famous religion. I mean, Jesus himself, you know, claimed to be a prophet, claimed to be the you know, some kind of divine entity, and was crucified for it. So there you go. But also, MAGA is a cult. I think we all know that. I think we can all dismiss that one out of hand. You know? Pretty clear. A radical progressive subculture that elevates identity politics, redefines language, imposes speech codes, and enforces moral purity through cancellation. Who's been canceled? Who's been canceled? I would love an example of any one person who's been canceled. Who was canceled? Did anyone get canceled for not being woke? Who got canceled? You guys, who got canceled? Guys, who got canceled? Who was canceled? You guys remember who was canceled? I know this is annoying that I keep repeating the same thing over and over again, but you gotta know. Guys, who was canceled? Who got canceled? Who got canceled? I'm confused. Who got canceled? It's weird. A radical progressive subculture. I wouldn't say that wanting to end racism is radical. You'd have to give me examples of what you think is radical. I don't know what's radical about wanting social services to not go away, or to wanting people to be able to vote conveniently, or to not have racism, or to not have, I think I already said to not have racism. You know, just that kind of stuff. I don't know why that's radical. I mean, it's radical in a tubular sense, but, like, I don't know why it's seen as extreme to want people to have thriving lives and living wages and shit. And that's all progressive ideology. I would like to be able to receive grants for my projects without people noticing the color of my skin. That would be great. You know, I think most people who are even somewhat a part of a marginalized group would pretty much enjoy being able to just live their life like everybody else gets to. I think that's, you know, not a thing that is too much to ask for being called a woke left cult. That elevates identity politics. You mean just recognizing that trans people exist and that people use different pronouns than what they were born with sometimes? That's pretty weird. That's pretty weird to make that a tenet of your arguments. redefines language. Well, no, it's language that redefines language. It's actually time that redefines language. It's actually like us learning new things that have to do with how those words are redefined, that redefines language. It's not just any one group of people. That's, again, a stupid thing to believe. Imposes speech codes. You mean says that you can't call somebody an F-slur? Says that you can't call somebody the N-word? I'm sorry that your precious words were taken away, but you've got to use more creative words and phrases now. I'm super sorry. But those are hateful words. And if you try to argue that God's real and that he's loving, then you probably shouldn't be saying hateful things. So no, that's the only speech code. I don't know what other speech code you could be thinking of, but no, you can't just spew slurs at people and like expect to have that tolerated. You're going to get, at the very least, you're going to get a talking to. At the most, you might get punched in the face. And then, that person might get arrested for assault, but you still got punched in the face. Was it worth it? Doubt it. And enforces moral purity through cancellation. Again, who was canceled? Of the people who spoke out against woke culture, of the people who denied trans existence, how many of them have been canceled? How many canceled? How many have been canceled? How many people have been canceled? Gosh, that's an important question. I know that it sounds, again, annoying that I keep repeating it, but it's an important question to ask because I beg of you, who has been canceled? Kevin Spacey, still getting work. Armie Hammer, still getting work. Fucking Matt Lauer, writing books. Who's been canceled? Roseanne, still on TV. Fucking Louis C.K. has a comedy special out. Fucking Matt Rife, one of the more famous comedians now. Who got canceled? Who was canceled? I'd love to know. I'd love to know who got canceled in the great canceling. The result is a kind of syncretic secular dogma. Don't know what syncretic means. Part atheism, part critical theory, part authoritarian, progressive, authoritarian. So wanting people to have agency is somehow authoritarian. Wanting people to have control over their own lives and destinies is somehow authoritarian. Wanting people to have living wages so they can be more free is somehow authoritarian. Taking money from corporations and putting it into people's pockets, that's somehow authoritarian. Wanting social services, like wanting our taxes that can go to the military, but then can also be diverted to social services, that's somehow authoritarian? Dishonest, man. Fucking dishonest. It's not just about believing there's no God. Yes, it is. And you've now turned it into something else that it never was. Jesus. It's about aligning with a rigid ideological matrix that polices thought and demands allegiance to the tenets of woke activism, LGBTQ plus orthodoxy, social justice, war ideology, and progressive purity culture. I would urge you to look in a mirror. I would urge you to ask yourself, am I projecting? Ask yourself the very, very, very simple questions of what does the left want? If the answer that you come up with is Medicare for all, basic minimum wage, housing for all, social services, you want a smaller military, smaller policing forces. We want a pathway to citizenship that doesn't rely on first deporting the person, then asking them to come back legally. Those are all progressive policies. I'm sorry, which of those restrict freedoms? Oh, you mean your freedom to call them F slurs, and your freedom to call them N slurs, and your freedom to hang people, and your freedom to ethnically cleanse and genocide, as Christians are fucking want to do. Is that the freedoms that we're trampling on? Then so fucking be it. Progression is degression. I love that as a philosophy. I think it sounds so fucking stupid that I would love to get that as like an ironic billboard on my wall, because that has to be one of the dumbest fucking things that anybody has ever said in their entire lives, in the history of mankind, in fact. Progression is degression. You're literally saying that the word is the opposite of its word. I bet that sounded real nice to you, real philosophical, real smooth, real edgy. But it's dumb. That's a bad premise. The sentence doesn't make sense. Not even a sentence. And for those who still think this is just online drama, nope. You got banned from someone's chat, and you're going on to angelfire.infinityfree.me to write a paper that nobody else is ever going to see. I'm not sure what you thought you were accomplishing. Consider how individuals like Villa Bianca, don't know who that is, estranged from religious family ties, migrated to Austin to join the ACA community. It's not hard to see how this can mirror religious conversion. Oh, fuck, dude. Can't you just... You're literally saying what you're doing. You're saying such a self-aware statement, but you're not actually looking at the words you're writing? Oh, sorry, no, because ChatGPT wrote this for you. A new family, new doctrine, new orthodoxy. What starts as liberation from oppressive religion often ends in another kind of conformity, this time enforced not by priests. Then why is it that atheists are made up of people of all different social backgrounds? Weird, right? Because they all come from different cultures, have different beliefs, especially around, like, political matters, especially around progressivism. Weird how there's so many of those people who disagree with each other vehemently on tons of different stuff, except that they happen to be atheists. Weird. It's almost like it's not an organized group. It's almost like it's just a thing that somebody is, a state of being, as opposed to an organized fucking group. The only group they can point to is the Austin Council of Atheists. One organization. That's all they can point to. Where's the comprehensive... scouring of these people, you know? I thought this was an expose. I'm agnostic. I don't know, and neither do you. True. And if that's what agnostic, if that's what it was on its face, then I think I would call myself agnostic. But I don't hold out for a chance that there's something. It's just not there. You know, like, I'm not claiming that it's gone or that it is disappeared or anything like that, but I can't know. I don't think I'll ever know. And so I think it's just easier to not really care about it, to just consider it a void, right? I don't know. This time enforced not by priests, but by mods, host, and the community hive mind. You're still talking about online spaces. So there is a cult of atheism, not universally, right? So you defeated your outro, or your conclusion defeats your entire premise. Not universally, but in places like post-atheism plus ACA sphere. So one very small section of humanity, even smaller section of atheists. I don't know that I would have added this. The answer is increasingly yes. Come on, dude. Increasingly yes. We see textbook cultic dynamics, charismatic leaders. Who's the leader of atheism? I'm sorry, but if you can name the representatives of atheism, I'll give you fucking $500. Who the fuck represents atheism? There's no atheist leaders. God damn. Ideological purity tests. Excommunication of dissenters. You mean getting rid of hateful people from your community? You guys fucking said since the 50s, if you guys want to be gay, just go and form your own community. Wouldn't they go off and do it? You're sad because they don't allow you there? Because they don't like you being... You told them to go away. Now that they do it, you gotta be all up in their fucking business? God damn! Militant demand for compliance. Jesus fucking Christ. The great irony of movement that once prided itself. Yeah, because we make people go to one specific place every Sunday. We make people read from a fucking book. Jesus Christ, you goddamn hypocrites. A movement that once prided itself on free thought now polices thought, armed not with scripture but with Reddit karma, block buttons, and sneaky Twitter threads. My god. It's always some conspiracy. It's always some fucking persecution. You guys are always such whiny fucking little babies that can't function by yourselves. You gotta have Big Daddy God take care of you. Smite him, please, Daddy God. Smite him. God. What was once a rebellion against dogma has become dogma itself. This is the word. Like, this is the person who wrote this in 6th grade? Was this supposed to be like their manifesto? God damn, dude. It's pathetic. This was written by AI, first of all. Second of all, it's bad. It's real bad. Dipsomaniac, again, I remember that you had a different name in my chat, but I don't remember what that is. If you ever show up again, just know that this is or if you're showing up now, just know that this is a bad paper. If you ever see this, just know that this is a really bad essay. This is a really, really bad essay. I don't know if you're showing it to me because of how bad it was, or because this is what you believe, or because it was your writing, but it was bad. Really, really, like, just very bad. Largely and encompassingly bad. Your issues of having been banned from a couple of online chats does not mean that you have any comprehensive knowledge of atheism or how atheists work. You simply had a bad experience, and you just need to process that experience and move on with your life. Any other questions? Anyone have a question for me? For the woke cultist? Does anyone have a question for the woke atheist leftist cultist? I'm gonna go pee for a second. I'll be right back. Yes, I'm wearing shorts. Don't look at my butt! Or do. Don't! All right, my pups are going crazy. The left has many good ideas, but the problem is the fundamentals are wrong. They say they love people, but in the end, they aren't helping them to remove themselves from God and to a self-serving economy. That's the thing. If you took religion out of it, then all you'd have left is the left helping people. It's weird how that works, right? It's almost like Christianity is fucking stupid and actually hurts people more than it helps people. It's weird. It's weird how that works. So weird. I'm going to feed my dogs. You go ahead and think about that. I'm going to feed my dogs. Don't be hypocrites. Yay! All right, I just gotta stay close. My little one is on. She's on one. She usually likes to steal the other one's food very systematically. It's like giving a kid too much candy, but they will learn a lesson that isn't it. What? It's like giving a kid too much candy. Do you see yourself as society's parents? It's really weird, if so. I hope not, because I don't have like a mommy thing. So I'd rather not think of you that way. You know? Nor do am I really famous for following along with authority. I'm kind of a big freedom guy, kind of a big autonomy guy. I like being able to live unimpeded, you know? Do what thou wilt kind of guy. You know? You know? And if you know, you know. You know? All right? Now you may see we got the big JC right above us. And he's about to say some stuff. All right? I think that this is a really good transition. It's still the same. I guess we're still doing the same thing, but it's a little different. You know? We're moving on from text to video format, and gosh darn it, I think that that's a good move. All right. All right, so his name apparently is Woke Jesus, put out by the Babylon Bee, which is I was gonna say something very vulgar. It's a paper that is mostly online now. And when it was in paper format, it was suitable mostly only for lining Australian bird cages. It is not a good organization. They are essentially the conservative Onion, but they actively spread hateful messages and disinformation just to make their funny ha-has, which is arguably more evil than just telling the truth. Which I wish more people would do. You know, if you just hate black people, just say you hate black people, you know? I don't know why people are so wishy-washy on that. If you feel it at home, if you're comfortable enough to say it with your friends, if you're comfortable enough to like vote for it, then just, you know, don't be a little pussy bitch baby boy and actually like say your thoughts out loud, you know? So what if it gains pushback? That's why you talk shit online, isn't it? You want the pushback. So just grow some balls and do it in real life. Be easy peasy, I think. If you truly believe what you're saying.
Virtue signal, for they shall be seen as righteous without actually having to do anything. It totally rocks. Blessed are those who are part of powerful Democrat families, but they will not be prosecuted. Hunter, I'm talking to you. I got your back. Full pardon, buddy.
Yeah, so what we're looking at here is a sort of spoof video about if Jesus was woke. So far, what he's said is... Hang on.
Blessed are those who virtue signal.
Right, so if you're not familiar with what virtue signaling is, it's when someone performatively shares, typically online, that they've done something that indicates that they are a progressive person. But when the right gets hold of that phrase, it's a little different. It's really more of a dog whistle to say, for those of you who actually do good things, and the right's definition of virtue signaling is actually kind of what they do. They're kind of so it's always projection, right? And so when you say something like, oh, like, how dare you call me racist? I have a bunch of black employees. That's pretty much what he's talking about. That's what this perverted version of Jesus is talking about. Keep that in your mind. This is what Babylon Bee has said that Jesus would be if he was woke. Now again, my definition of woke is recognizing that systemic injustice exists and wanting to change it, wanting it to change, wanting to do better for the future, right? So keep listening to him talk.
They shall be seen as righteous without actually having to do anything.
Right. So completely empty gestures is what he is referring to as virtue signaling.
rocks. Blessed are those who are part of powerful Democrat families, but they will not be
And then he
prosecuted.
calls nepotism into question, which, I mean, let's just apply that as a blanket policy for all politicians. They all do nepo shit. Fuck, man. Every corporation, every company, every media organization, all the films, all the cartoons, all the fucking live performances, everything has nepotism in it. And if you just look at how our administration's running right now, like, that is Republican nepotism. Like, they all have nepotism, nepo babies in the office. And they all have, like, their kids are, like, in each other's colleges and shit. Their kids are, like, in each other's secret societies or whatever. Their kids are all, like, each other's aides and shit. If you're a connected kid in Washington, D.C., you're going to be part of the administration. And, like, it's almost never been merit-based. Only the worst people become politicians. In general. Both sides.
Hunter, I'm talking to you.
I'm gonna grab some more water.
I got your back. Full pardon, buddy. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. Or you can believe in Buddha, or Muhammad, or Oprah. You have heard it said, thou shalt not steal. But I say unto you, unless it is merchandise worth more than $949, then go ahead. These companies have insurance, you know. Judge not.
Yes, is there any other context?
So, apparently being woke is stealing? Stealing expensive things? Apparently that's what being woke is. They didn't make a punchline to that. It was just stealing things. Oh, you steal things, but they have to be expensive. What the fuck? How does that have anything to do with being woke? How is that even a spoof of anything? They're just saying that people on the left are straight up thieves. You know why? You know why? Black people. They're racist. That's all it is. It's just they're just racist. They think that black people are criminals because that's the stereotype that's associated to them or attributed to them, and there you go. That's it. That's all they need. All they need is some distant fucking stereotype to base a point on a very well-produced spoof. Goddamn.
Insurance, you know. Judge.
What else was it?
Merchandise worth more than but I say unto you, thou shalt not steal. You have heard it said that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. Or you can believe in Buddha, or Muhammad, or Oprah.
Yeah, Oprah is not a god, nor is that a thing that, like, would be included in the pantheon of gods. Like, you can worship whoever the fuck you want. Like, even Jesus would have recognized that there are other religions. They're not fake or made up. That is insane to say. Religions existed before fucking Christianity. That's for damn sure. You guys didn't make it up. You didn't make up the whole concept. And it's only in your story that you're God's chosen people.
Bruh. You have heard it said hundreds of years ago, under reparations to end. For tomorrow the government will take care of you. Good for you. You murder. You've heard it said that.
Where the fuck? How long ago? What?
Were donations. Whatever happened to them? Man does not live by bread alone, but by oatmeal lattes.
May I walk?
Or you
Did I
believe
go
in
way far?
Confucius, or Joseph Smith, or Judge not.
There we go. Jesus Christ.
Ever. Or you believe in Confucius.
Well, no. I mean, everyone judges everyone, like, all the time. I don't know that you can exist on this earth without somehow being judged at some point by somebody else. That's ignoring reality.
Confucius, or Joseph Smith, or L. Ron Hubbard, or Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so labeling all of the like the other two world's biggest religions in with Scientology is a specific kind of this vitriol towards those other religions. You think that they're fake and that they're like pseudo science, or they're not, like they don't deserve to exist, or whatever your stance is. Your religion is no more special than fucking believing in Zeus or believing in Odin. Like none of that is any more special than the other. They're all trying to put something that you can't explain into words. That's all it is. And saying that you're the only one that is real puts you at a very evil place. It puts you in a very like exculpatory place where you're taking whole sections of humanity and you're saying, you know what? I don't think you get to exist. No. Yeah, I don't think so. And that's where things like the fucking Crusades come from. Not a good look, guys.
Wherever two or more are gathered, I am there also. Separated by at least 6 feet for safety. So...
Yep. You know, in times of pandemics, it's usually considered socially acceptable if you are able to observe, you know, safety rules. Seeing that as oppression is really weird. You know, typically, like, if someone has chickenpox, you know to stay away from them. Like, you know not to contract the chickenpox if you've never had it before. But, like, if someone has an infectious disease, you know to wash your hands. You know to, like, stay away from that person. Like, you know to call in sick. You know to do all these things. We have, like, all these laws that govern this kind of stuff. It's not new. It really was just people acting like little whiny babies. And they made it so far into whiny baby territory, they started getting fired because they wouldn't comply with the very lax fucking rules that we had to in order to stop the spread of a deadly fucking pandemic. The fact that they think that it's fake in general was a leading factor in why people chose not to comply. But that's an argument from incredulity. That's like, oh, it sounds super ridiculous, so there's no way that I can believe that. Yes, like, I understand that it sucks that you have to change the way that you live for a little bit. But fuck, man, like, your friends and family dying is even worse. And people are so fucking selfish that they just can't. They just can't deal with it. Was there ancient structures discovered beneath the Euphrates revealed from lower water volume? I don't know what that means. Are you saying that there were structures found under the Euphrates? Because if there were, I didn't know about it. And what about it? What does it make you think about? What is the thing that is interesting you, or would interest me? Let's look it up. Man, this ain't one of those things where you direct the stream, man. You're joining here to join in the discussion that's already going on. Not create one of your own. Hang on. We'll finish this video and then I'll look it up.
Too close, woman. We're all in this together.
Jesus, will you heal me so I may walk?
No. For that would be ableist.
Can't feel that, can you? Larry Baker Addy, Joel Osteen, all those...
I mean,
those
that's...
bald fellows that...
That's actually funny. I can't help you, Timmy. That would be ableism. That's actually funny. That is... I will absolutely... I'll give it up for that. That was a good joke. One good joke in the entirety of this... Again, multi-million-dollar companies... fully produced... comedic good thing.
So I used to come up at the airports and ask for donations. Whatever happened? Man does not live by bread alone, but by oatmeal lattes, Beyond Meat, and ethically sourced crickets. Clear. It's good for the climate, and it's surprisingly tasty.
No, I just had lunch.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 3 people who are trying to get us to switch to insects. Like, I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's a comprehensive thing that anybody believes, let alone an entire political side of the aisle. Movies back then so much better than now. Back when Jesus was around? Are you as stoned as I am? I think you are, if you think that they're... if you're talking about the movies back then when Jesus was around. This was their movies.
It tastes like fried chicken.
Come on! Seriously?
No, I just had lunch.
It tastes like fried chicken.
There was no fucking reason for him to say that other than the fact that he's talking to a black man. What the fuck, man? And that's not racist? That's like when Flat Earth Dave was talking to Lord Jamar, and he's like, oh yeah, the dome is like a bucket of KFC. Dude. And like, I can't imagine that a person, a member of the black community, is sitting there hearing that and thinking, yeah, you know, I'm totally game for this. I'm totally down. Let's totally just keep talking about this like it's a bucket of K-fucking-FC. Jesus. Dude, come on, look it up. I mean, I said I would after this video, did I not? That's called placating. That's called me placating you. I'm placating you. I'm giving you a breadcrumb that says I'll give you what you want, so you stick around. And if you do, you'll be rewarded.
You've heard it said, thou shalt not kill. But I say unto you, if you murder a CEO in cold blood, bravo. Good for you.
Well, so what they're trying to connect here is that leftists are somehow Luigi Mangione. That is actually not what we're talking about. He, from what I know, he was a pretty well-off guy. You know, went to college. Was kind of like one of those, kind of like one of those rich assholes that we would be saying like, oh, you know, we need to defund shit, and he'd be like, that's who do you think your taxes are gonna pay for? You know, we're gonna. He had a gripe about medication or medical care, which I think most people share with him, and he decided to take the law into his own hands. That's not a leftist, like that is actually like a leftist thing, but that's not like, I don't think he is himself a leftist. So saying that is, again, just weird. You're actually friendly firing yourself. Voice calls everywhere, bro. We would have gone down Revelations Lane. And I don't mean the book. I mean mental revelations. Again, you know, you're just going to have to actually explain shit to me, because I'm not just going to, like, do stuff blindly. I said I was going to do what you asked me to do, and then apparently that's not good enough, so pick rocks.
Do not worry about tomorrow. For tomorrow, the government will take care of you with Social Security and Medicare.
Okay, I mean, I guess that's woke, but why is that a bad thing? Why is it a bad thing for the government to take care of you? Like, they're saying this as if they're making fun of it. Like, why is that a gotcha? I never will understand why people think that social services, robust social services that help them more than anybody else, is somehow woke. Somehow that's like a, oh, it's a dig. Oh, you guys want socialized Medicare. Go on. Like, is that, it's a bad thing, or what? Very confused.
Under Caesar what is Caesar's. But render reparations to anyone that your ancestors might have harmed, whether directly or indirectly, hundreds of years ago, even though everyone was kind of enslaved to everyone else at some point in history, but...
No, actually. The systemic enslavement of black people was perpetrated by exclusively whites. So I'm not sure, at least when we're talking about the East India slave trade and the mass importation of slaves into the U.S., it's all white men. All white men. And so, if a big enough group gets together and asks the government for reparations and they approve that, then so be it. the justice would have worked exactly the way that we designed it to, and you'd be upset about that? That's really weird. We fought 2 world wars. We fought a Revolutionary War and a Civil War to get to where society is now, and you just want to give all that up? That's weird, man. That's like some kind of weird capitulation kink that I do not think that I want to be part of.
Just do it. It makes sense. Blessed are those who don't feel like...
Well, no, they never said just to do reparations. They actually gave quite a good argument for it. And it didn't go through. That black people never got their reparations. So, I mean, I don't know what we're complaining about still. To you guys, justice worked exactly the way it's supposed to. So, I mean, I think all that's happening still is just the remaining audacity that those uppity black people would ever dare to ask for something after we gave them home and shelter and work. Yeah. We even gave them scraps from time to time. Sometimes they were actual meat. Bet you didn't know that, woke leftists.
working. For they will be given free money. I think it's called UBI. Might be pronounced UBI or UB.
Yeah, no, universal basic income. I think everybody should be entitled to that. I think that you should live in a society. And again, I don't know why this is a bad thing. Somebody please help me understand why this would ever be a bad thing. I want people to be able to afford a house. I want them to be able to afford to pay bills. Even if that takes just the government signing a piece of paper that says everybody gets a basic universal income. That's not a bad thing, to want people to thrive and to be able to survive in the society that you live in. To want your neighbors to be happy? It's fucking insane, man. What is your stance on everything? I'm confused. You want me to give my one unifying theory stance of everything? I can't do that in a simple statement. You're gonna have to ask me specific things. I'm a woke leftist atheist. That's what we're talking about today. Woke left atheism, apparently.
Something.
I just spent the last hour and a half reading a document that somebody sent me on my Discord that said the cult of woke leftism, or woke leftist atheism. It was a bit of a mouthful of a title, and it was a very badly researched essay. So that probably will tell you what my... And the fact that I'm dedicating a whole stream to the idea probably tells you what my stance is on most relevant things to this stream.
I have no idea, but it's great. I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. But you did forget to tip your barista 20%. Just get...
Again, the point's always about a barista. It's always about baristas getting tipped. You don't have to tip at the coffee house. Use your common sense. You don't have to. If a good cheat sheet, a good rule of thumb to use is if you can do the thing that you're being asked to tip for, if you can do that thing easily at home and you're choosing not to, then you should tip. Then let's look up the Euphrates thing. You've asked me now 3 times when I've explained to you that I will watch it after this video. Do you think that makes me want to do it more or less? Don't you still have any sense of wonder? Yeah. I just don't like being told what to do, nor will I comply with that. If you ask me, like, nicely, and, you know, you're cordial and warm when you ask, then I'm more inclined to do it. But if you're just going to be there, come on, bro, come on! Come on, look it up, man! After I've already said that I would? Seems childish. Makes me want to do it even less. The more you ask, the less I want to.
To ask you a little question there. So I'm not looking. Really? Or Sigmund Freud, Charles Darwin,
Thank you, I appreciate your understanding.
Molech.
We're all about
Bauhaus,
understanding here.
Dagon. Or you could
That's the
believe...
main theme of the stream, is to understand one another, you know? If you are new to the stream, welcome, first of all. But second of all, I'm about to turn off the face cam, and if you've ever been here before, then you know exactly why I'm doing that. Is also because, or for those of you who don't know, it is because I smoketh of the cannibas. If you also smoketh of the cannibas, please feel free to join me. Don't feel obligated, though. As soon as I am done, I will bring the face cam back, but I'll go ahead and let the video play.
Even yourself. Except for you, Steve. Kind of a mess. Sorry. If anyone would come after me and be my...
Wait for you. Okay, I'll wait. Packing it. All right. I know some people like to sync it up, you know. I gotta announce it to make sure that I'm not leaving anyone behind, you know. It's important. That's community. I have to use tweezers because I broke the little handle off of my bowl. So it looks a little janky, but it's still professional. It's still a nice professional setup. And I just read an article about how people who smoke are they're way more prone to having cardiac events, which scares me.
Count the cost.
Scares
For
me a
you'll
little
be
bit.
adored by the media, celebrated by Hollywood, and even cherished by the universities. It's fantastic, honestly. The way you know you're doing Christianity right is if everyone loves you. It is the best. Why do you look at the speck of dust in your brother's eye?
But he just told the truth there. He just said reality.
It's fantastic, honestly. If anyone would come after me and be my disciple, you must count the cost. For you will be adored by the media, celebrated by Hollywood.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't trust any one study, but it is definitely cause for a little bit of concern. Don't take away the one thing, because I'm trying to drink less. I'm trying to be, like, way more conscientious of, like, my health and my body and shit. Like, just do it. Watch this. Just, like, you know, just leave my cannibas alone, you know? Just leave it alone.
And even cherished by the universities. It's fantastic, honestly. The way you know you're doing Christianity right is if everyone loves you. It is the best. Why do you look at the speck of dust in your brother's eye and ignore the plank in your own? Because Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad.
There wasn't even a woke point there. There wasn't even a punchline. What alcohol? I usually just drink beer. And when I do, it's usually only 2.
Orange Man bad. Orange Man
And it's only about, like, maybe twice a week.
bad. Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. Orange
Oh, and that was it. Okay, cool. No, it wasn't it.
I am woke Jesus.
No, it wasn't.
B-.
And give to the poor. I'm just kidding. That's what taxes are for. It's just outsource your charity to them, you know. You
Tropicana cherry cookies. I believe mine is green crack at the moment.
don't have to do anything. Come on. I should have seen the look.
Bee buds. $40 for the ounce, which I was a little taken aback by. It was definitely not what I'm used to paying. I'm used to paying $10 less than that. And so that was a little awkward. It's good. It smells good, tastes good, all that kind of stuff. So I think it was worth it. But it sucks when you're hit with like an unexpected price increase on something.
It's on your faces though. That was really good. Oh, classic.
Did you know that there are people who cross the border illegally, vote in our presidential elections, and collect hundreds of thousands of dollars in government benefits?
Did you know that that's entirely incorrect? Immigrants actually contributed, $38 million a year before last year, I think it was, towards social services that they themselves can't even use. It's hard enough to get fake documents, and getting fake documents that you can actually use is even harder. Especially with like the anti-counterfeit technology that we have now. It's extremely unlikely that an undocumented person who is wearing the clothes on their back can afford fake documents, let alone be able to furnish them without them not being spotted right away. So, no, immigrants are not coming over and voting in our fucking elections, nor are they taking up our fucking social services. This is part of the great replacement theory that's been bandied about on goddamn YouTube and Twitch for the last 10 fucking years. I spent the last 10 years trying to debunk. But with the audience I have, it's kind of, you know, I'm reaching all of one of you. You know? These guys, they got so much more of a big platform, you know? But no, that's actually not happening. So, you know, don't get swallowed by the fucking brain rot. Damn, Nikki, are you ready yet? Fuck. I've been ready to count this shit down for damn near a minute and a half already. Yo, so you said that... Oh, you're good? Okay, count it down. We're ready. 3, 2, 1. Smoke them if you got them. Cheers, guys. So you're essentially this guy? Woo-wee. All right. So you said you're woke. You're a woke liberal atheist. I'm a white male Christian. You would not be. Well, I think you would probably be surprised. Most of my audience is white male Christians. I can blaze and go philosophical. Well, I hate philosophy, and I have no hate or malice towards you. You seem like a cool dude. Well, you mean when? I think what you're addressing is like if someone was to say like, oh, well, that's a hateful comment. And I think what people mean by that isn't like outward hate, like people talk about. Like, it's like, oh, I hate you. It's not like that. It's like if someone was to say, you know, like, oh, so-and-so's daughter became trans, you know, and like they prefer to go by he, him pronouns now, and their name is Tony. And if you decided to deny that, then that's the kind of hate. Like, it's not outward hate. It's not like anger hate, or it's not like fervent hatred. It's more of a passive hate, I think, is what people refer to like when they're talking about like people having hate and malice and shit. It's like, I know that like people typically don't go around to like groups of people and just like start mugging them and get like angry and shit. But like hate can take many forms, man. And we see that stuff a lot with like just like a few months ago, someone asked me to go onto their Discord and talk with them. Just they said that they were they were open-minded. They were, you know, a Christian group, but like it was a Christian group of like gamers. I forget what the context was, but I was like, yeah, man. I mean, as long I'm okay with, because I know I grew up adjacent to the church, and like I've known religious people my entire life. I, you know, work with them. I party with them. I, you know, dated some religious people in my life. Like, it's, you know, it's been a roller coaster, but religion's kind of been there, present throughout most of it. And like I can interlock with people occasionally, like talk to them about their faith and stuff like that, and it almost never takes a tone that is in any way unpleasant. But like, you know, there's inherently something there. Like, that's one of your guys' core tenets, is that you can't accept gay people into the kingdom of heaven, which is like, that's what the guy said one of the guys said on the Discord. Like, when I joined, I was like, yeah, I mean, as long as you guys aren't opposed to like trans people or gay people or black people, then I'm or like, you know, marginalized peoples, then I'm open-minded. I'll talk about whatever. And then one of them was like, oh, you're one of those trans ideology guys. And I was like, oh, Jesus. Like, oh, man. I think our titles just automatically provoke the same patterns of thoughts. I feel like it's a word algorithm towards program thought response. Yeah, I mean, you know how, like, all that MK Ultra shit, all that, all those things that people think were, conspiracies back in the day, or thought were conspiracies back in the day, they were all moved to like marketing platforms. Like that's the rumor, is like now instead of researching mind control and remote viewing, now people actually instead just think that it moved over to marketing. So like big corporations now are just using the same tactics in order to market products to people. Being gay is not a death sentence. Well, I mean, if you don't turn away from being gay by the end of your life and repent, then you will go to hell, according to Christians. So that's kind of the sort of the non-starter for me. I think it's a misconception. Well, no, biology would disagree with you. Actual biology with modern science and shit.
It's true. Did you hear about the story? If you didn't, that's because this story was barely covered by 19 sources. That means NBC, NPR, and the rest of liberal mainstream media. And they chose not to spread this news because unbiased outlets don't actually exist, and this story doesn't fit their narrative. Those outlets hope that you don't question what you see. That's why we've relied on our partners at Ground.
It is insane that I've seen this ad read from the exact opposite side of the aisle so many times. I've seen this exact opposite of this. Do you suppose they provide them with the ad reads, or do you think they make their own? I would think this guy probably uses ChatGPT. But but the whole story of them using our social security, all of that's incorrect. But wouldn't Ground News tell you that? So isn't the source that you're pointing people to going to make people more progressive? Doesn't that do the opposite of what you want? That's not true, though, because we can't even follow the first commandment. You can be the Pope and still sin. Being gay is sin. Sin has been forgiven. So you're saying it's okay to be gay, I think, is what I'm taking away from what you're saying. From the words you've used. Because you say being gay is a sin. Sin is forgiven. Is sin forgiven by default? Because what about original sin? Isn't that still a thing? Or is that OT? Am I just thinking like different timelines here? Although I have to say, kudos on the Babylon Bee. Honestly, an actual compliment to the Babylon Bee, which I never thought I would give, is that they put their ad all the way at the end of the video. That's that's kind of gentlemanly. I will admit, I do appreciate that. Oof. I still hate them, but I kind of appreciate that. I'm saying we're all sinners regardless of the sin. Yeah, but doesn't it suck to kind of have to classify life in how bad you're doing as opposed to listing your achievements? And if God's omniscient, if he can be all time and space and all that kind of stuff, then wouldn't it suck for him to create humans knowing that some of them are actually just going to go to hell? You're creating them to be condemned. That kind of sucks, man. I'm not a fan of that, you know? If that was real, I'd be like, wow, man, God, I'm pretty mad at you, man. That's pretty messed up. You know? It doesn't endear me to the Lord.
A woman,
as some would call it,
should be merely the first step in a wider mission to bring down. I didn't grow up in the South, but I had a lot of church time in Southern Baptist churches. Some of the most, I still remember some of those experiences, some of the most fun experiences of my life, some of the best food I've ever had in my entire life. Capitalism. Now, I don't think most women are on board with that, and most women would be rather surprised.
I don't think most women are on board with that. Sorry. I had to make fun of his voice first. But if we were created to follow, we would not have free will. Right, but isn't that against the teachings of the Bible? The omnipresence is God's love through the Spirit, and we breathe the Spirit because God first gave us breath. So Muslim? Isn't that something from Islam? I think God breathing life into humans. I think. I might be wrong. I don't know the Quran very well.
For instance, that being a woman should be merely the first step in a wider mission to bring down capitalism. Now, I don't think most women are on board with that, and most women would be rather surprised to be utilized in this fashion.
But that
Oh, are you Gnostic? Or Discordian? Is that it? I think that's it. Gnostics are big smokers.
that is very clearly and explicitly, and I quote the various scholars and writers who've been pushing this for years, this is explicitly the aim. It's a basis for madness.
Yeah, Gnostics also really don't like labeling themselves, especially Discordians. I get it. I play the game. I understand. Don't worry. What is it? What do kids say nowadays? I see you. I see you. That's not even kids these days. I think that's like adults now.
When people say the gay community, who are you talking about? It's like women think this. Oh, really? 50% of the species all agree on something. Blacks say this. Really? Now, this is, let me put it another way. If somebody said,
Please do, because I'm not following what you're saying. It's not just his silly accent, because I actually really like the accent. It's silly because I feel silly when I'm doing the voice of it, but I really like it.
I know.
But I'm having trouble following him.
I just love the working class. Who?
Yeah.
I just love the middle class. Who? I love the upper class. Who are you talking about?
Yeah, he's reiterating on a point that I often say, like, you can bring me a million cases of something and I still wouldn't believe that it's representative of an entire human being group. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you say black people this, and you brought me an example of a black person who says that, and I was like, okay, I now acknowledge that there is one black person who has said that. If you then bring me 10 black people and you say, I could then acknowledge that there's 10 black people who say that. I would not, however, ever try to say in any way, shape, or form that what this group of men is saying is representative of the entire black community. There's no reason to believe that unless you are specifically trying to spread disinformation. That feels like a bad faith tactic right there. You're boiling everything down to a single woefully minuscule statistic. That's unfair. And it's bad pool, my friend. Bullpack, let me ask you a question to respond to your first question. You mentioned how God is omnipresent, and I suggest we go over all three. Like, you mean God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit? I mean, just state your case, man. This ain't a debate or anything. Just go ahead and like say what you're thinking.
About.
Type it out like a goddamn novel.
Why would we?
Or I think there's a Max character, but you get what I'm saying.
Why would we be falling for this interpretation of society as depending solely or primarily on interest groups based on gender/sex, sexual orientation, race, and a bit more? Why would we be doing that? Why would we be taking the individualism out of individuals and lumping them in these demonstrably incoherent bodies that don't even exist? They don't even exist. The LGBT community. Take me to your leader. Come on. And it's why, as I say, you can always
Wait, so
predict.
the LGBTQ community doesn't exist? Let me see, hang on. A community is a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in fucking common. A feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common fucking attitudes, interests, and goals. It sounds like you can call yourself the gay community without having to have a representative or having to have a leader. That's fucking weird, dude. It's fucking weird, dude. Theater, that's fucking weird, man. I don't like your logic, brass.
And lumping
I need to hear his point again.
in these demonstrably incoherent bodies that don't even exist. They don't even exist. The LGBT community. Take me to your leader. Come on.
Weird.
And it's why, as I say, you can always predict exactly who is going to latch onto the latest claim. When, for instance, the big bearded man with male genitalia wins the women's weightlifting competition, you can...
Is that happening? Where has that happened? Also, how tall are you? I need to know how tall this man is. I want to show you my perspective on any questions I generally have. Alright, I'm blazing this up. Well, I let you know what. I said go ahead and type it all out, man. Whatever you say, I tend to respond. So get it. Get it and get it. Get it and get it. Both ways. We'll do it both ways. Get it and get it. Alright, you get it and we'll get it.
Predict with 100% accuracy who is going to say, yeah, what's the problem with that? And the people who are going to say,
I just did that. Well, no, I said I don't believe you. But also, who would care? Also, who cares?
I'm not sure Clive, the big weightlifter, should be winning the women's category. You can
Right, but it's not happening. Come up with a new argument.
predict it. And the people who say, why have you got a problem with that, bigot, are always the same people who believed in the past that our societies needed to be pulled apart in another fashion. And now they'd like to do it in this fashion. It has this hideous...
So Nazis? So you're calling the left Nazis. Interesting. Very interesting. We are products of our environment. Our brain creates synapses in our brain, which are like the grooves of thought pattern. What's the earliest institution to form beliefs? Family. What on earth? Okay, you might be too high for me to understand you. Tell you what, online payments are a hellhole in 2026. Raw one, man. Have you been trying to struggle with it this entire time? Jesus. Buy something else or pay, get a different service somewhere. That sucks. I'm sorry you have to deal with that.
The red interior, which keeps exposing itself as desiring not a better relationship between ourselves and our environment, but for instance, the end of capitalism. This new morality we're trying to construct.
New morality? No. When people say marginalized, that means historically marginalized. That means, you know, all those black people in chains, you know, the gay people that were hung, the fucking, like, the Jews that like burned in the camps, like, historically marginalized. Jesus. Yes to no success. Goddamn, man. Any questions for you? I don't know. What, if you had an hour and a half to make and cook a sausage that showed me the breadth of your skill in the kitchen, even if it's shitty, what would you make? I provide the casing and I'll case it up for you, but you got to give me the ingredients. And then tell me how you want me to cook it. If I'm boiling it, if I'm frying it, grilling it, yada yada. What's that guy about communism? No, he's defining woke for us. He's defining woke. Because remember, I didn't put it in the title, but the cult that I joined is the woke atheist cult. So remember, he's telling us what woke is so that we can understand why we're part of this cult, okay? We got to investigate. All right. And so what he's saying is that I actually don't know what he was saying.
I just love the word.
He tried to say that gay people have a leader, which I would say objectively discredits him. But you never know. Maybe he was saying some other cogent point that actually made sense. But that's a pretty big gaffe. I would say that's a big whiff right there. A big swing and a miss. Though, I mean, I would say that it's changed hands between Dolly Parton, Liza Minnelli, Bette Midler, you know, quite a few grand dames of the gay community, but I don't think anyone's really like represented it at any point. You know, Harry Truman? I don't know. Venison and buffalo, beer boiled, then barbecue with mustard only. Mustard only, I would say, is probably the best move for a sausage. Absolutely. If you try to put goddamn ketchup on an artisan sausage, what's your name? Goose. My real name's TJ, but you can call me Goose. That's just I use TJ for business, and then for gaming and online stuff, it's mostly Goose. So whichever you prefer. jerk. Oh, okay. Oh, son of a bee sting. This sandwich place that I like always has this sandwich that I think is so delicious. And hey, Jesus. Being a nosy neighbor, we have like a bit of a problem child who is, I mean, I call him a child, but he's like maybe 15, 16, but he's like antagonizing my dogs occasionally. I'm trying to get video of it. So I want to make sure I catch him when he does it. Oh, yeah. You said structures found under the Euphrates. In August 7th of 2023? Does that sound right? And then that on the thing here. Let me know. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Civilizations of the world. Based on what you've said, this is either going to be something that has to do with Gnosticism, 12 tribes of Judah, or no, Scions of the Elders of whatever the fuck it's called, of Judah, or something. My white balance is off again. Gonna be something like that. You got the woke mind virus, yeah, apparently, you know. Gaylord and Gay King. Are there Gaylord and Gay King? Is that near the pyramids? I would assume, I think. Abraham Lincoln. Why is Abraham Lincoln the gay representative? No, it's the Four Horsemen. Okay, well let me take a look. I'll try to speed read through this. Drag's been a particular hard hit despite the fact that climate change global warming affect nations all around the world. As a result of annual rainfall declining in temperatures, oh my god. Join us beneath the Euphrates River. One of those Euphrates devastating drought. Is there a video of this that I could probably watch? Let's take a look. One year ago? Angels? Gnosticism, dude. These are all pointing to Gnosticism. Pop it through chat and have it summarize it. Oh, you mean GPT? No, I'll just do the hard work. Whatever. Fuck you guys. Don't fuck you. I didn't mean that. Elton John said the worst thing that happened for Britain in the last 40 years was decriminalized weed. Really? What does that mean? Gnosticism? Man. Hang on, hang on, dude. We gotta have a order of operations, okay? What happened to my camera? What? Oh no, sorry. I thought there was a glitch on my camera. It was actually just a picture from the website. Archaeologists labored feverishly in a race between the palace was constructed two independent stages. Matani? Work. Discovering, exploiting. Syrians assumed control of Empire, started crumbling entire group. Towers, industrial complex, gun, poor paste digs, and Mesco storage buildings. Well kept structures from 2000 built from sun-dried mud, but should have long ago disintegrated. Yeah, I mean, rising waters and cold temperatures can definitely preserve things longer than they normally would be able to be preserved. So that's understandable. Portion of the walls. Okay, but what does all this mean? So it said it's supposed to dry up around 2040 from the Iraqi observing people? Ooh. I did not know that Abraham Lincoln had like a boyfriend. How'd they share a bed? What does that mean? Don't feign naivete. It's not a good look on you, Rawan. Why ever would they share a bed? Were they roommates? Archival material. Okay, so what? Okay, why are you asking me to look this up? I need to know what it means. Yeah, this is really just a geographical accounting for the Mitanni Empire and the ruins they found under the Euphrates. It doesn't say anything about angels or anything like that. What we could do is we could watch this angels one. But it doesn't say anything about the buildings under the Euphrates. It just says that they were imprisoned in the Euphrates.
Deep beneath the surface of the earth, beneath the flow.
And it's AI slop. So already it's got some check marks against it.
Of one of history's most iconic rivers, the Bible tells us something is bound, not a legend, not a metaphor, but 4 real, powerful angels.
See, guys? See, okay, this is how you know this is how you... It's an entire vertically integrated chain of AI slop, which I find hilarious. So this is all AI. Oh yeah, it says made with AI, at least they disclose it. It echoes the Old and New Testament scriptures with the timing of when the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, when Israel was declared a state, and follow the prophecies to the Euphrates. This is kind of sounding like
restrained by God himself, waiting for an exact moment in time. Not a year, not a decade, but an appointed hour, day, month, and year. Revelation, chapter 9, verse 14.
Yeah, no,
Release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. These are not messengers of peace. They are not bringers of hope. Their release will mark one of the most terrifying moments in human history, the death of 1/3 of mankind. Who are they? Why are they bound? And what happens when they rise? In this video, we explore one of the Bible's most hidden and haunting end-time mysteries, a prophecy that connects Genesis, the ancient world, the Book of Enoch, and Revelation's final trumpet blasts. Prepare for a journey through the depths of Scripture, spiritual warfare.
Is any of this sounding familiar? That's awesome. What AI do you have? I don't have AI. I'm looking at videos on YouTube. People make stuff up, and that's just fine without AI. FYI, there's tons of audiobooks pre-AI, maybe lower quality. I mean, I know that, but I have always wanted to do voiceovers for ebooks or audiobooks or something. I think that'd be really fun. I think that'd be really darn fun. But there's a dude that like read all the alchemy books and post it on YouTube pre-AI and voice synth. Yeah, I mean, I think that's still the predominant way that people are making those narrations, you know? Why don't we want to watch that? It's talking about the angels under the Euphrates. You know? Buried temple beneath the Euphrates.
Are facing water shortages as the region's longest river, the Euphrates, dries up.
When the Euphrates began to dry up,
Enoch 1 was discovering the Dead Sea Scrolls. Enoch confirms fallen angels. I knew it. Yeah, you're Gnostic. Ay. So, do you follow the Discordians or do you follow the Book of Enoch? Here's the definition of Gnosticism, if you need it still, though I think you were lying when you said you didn't know what it was. I follow scripture only. Yeah, not if you're following the Book of Enoch, because the Book of Enoch is not actually part of the Bible. People are capable of lying. People are capable of providing false sources. People are capable of providing false information, and corruption is infinitely possible, arguably inevitable in a religious structure, because you have a vested interest in maintaining your quality of life, right? So what would you do if someone jeopardized that? I've heard Legend of the Hidden Temple. Ooh, I remember that show. Gnosticism is a diverse set of religious and philosophical movements emphasizing personal spiritual knowledge, gnosis, as the path to salvation, often viewing material world as flawed or evil. Gnosticism emerged in the 1st and 2nd centuries CE, primarily within early Christian and Jewish Christian communities in the Mediterranean region, particularly in Alexandria. Its roots are influenced by Middle Platonism, Hellenistic Judaism, Zoroastrianism, and early Christian thought. The term Gnosticism itself was coined in the 17th century by Henry Moore, derived from the Greek word gnostikos, meaning learned or intellectual. Gnostic groups were not a single unified movement, but shared common themes, including the pursuit of direct mystical knowledge of the divine. This is where you would find the people who believe that angels are being held in the temple underneath the Euphrates River.
No one expected what surfaced to rewrite ancient history.
Also,
not just ruins, but a buried temple with symbols.
This whole
no
thing
one
is
could
AI?
read, rooms tuned to cosmic frequencies, and
Holy
rituals
shit.
soaked in blood.
This whole thing is AI. This whole video is AI. Even I have to assume that the person, because I know that those television networks are making like AI hosts now. That's insane. Wait, what? And then there's two sides to Gnosticism, right? So the Discordians are the ones who believe in like autonomy. They're usually the ones who are like, you should go get to do whatever you want. And they don't particularly adhere to any of the actual like beliefs that Gnosticism espouses, and they kind of just like make up their own shit. But also, another splinter group is called the 12 tribes of Judah, also known as 1970s 1903 imperialistic Russian newspaper writers who published the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. So you get one side that's almost specifically Semitic, and then the other side that's completely anti-Semitic. It's a pretty interesting juxtaposition. Enoch 1 is carbon dated before the Old Testament. Enoch 2, 3 were made after the New Testament. Enoch 1 stands 2, 3. Unless it was discovered in the 1940s. It's not in the Bible because it was recently discovered in the 1940s. I mean, we don't even know like what the first manuscript of the Bible was. The oldest manuscript that we have is 800 some odd years old. But I mean, you know, like what proof do we have that the Book of Enoch has anything to do with anything relevant to Christianity? Like, how do you fold that into your faith? How does that, I mean, how do you incorporate that?
Scientists found warnings etched in stone. Do not disturb the watcher below. But they kept digging. What they uncovered next sent shock waves through archaeology, religion, and physics. And the worst part? This might...
Right, but I'm just asking you to explain the mechanics of your faith.
...not be the only one. The drought that unveiled the forgotten temple. When the Euphrates River began to dry up, most people thought the biggest concern would be agriculture or water shortages. But what emerged from the mud wasn't just ancient pottery or stone roads. It was a massive underground temple structure no one knew existed. Satellite scans showed something unusual first, an oddly symmetrical outline beneath the receding waters. When local archaeologists arrived in early 2022, what they found shocked the academic world. Parts of the structure were carved directly into bedrock, covered in engraved stone blocks older than anything previously found in the region, some dating back to at least 2,800 BCE. This wasn't just another Mesopotamian ruin. The walls were laced with carvings of creatures not typically associated with Sumerian mythology, figures with elongated limbs, double pupils, and crowns made of serpents. According to
Yeah, does this sound familiar?
field notes from a German-led excavation team, several bas-reliefs resembled the Anunnaki, but distorted.
We found the magic word. We got the magic word. Somehow Nephilim's gonna be incorporated in there too somewhere. See?
Not majestic gods,
Told you.
but twisted humanoid entities with exposed ribs and fanged mouths.
And fucking photo, man. That's good. I like that. They said no?
Here's where it gets even more disturbing. A local
It seems
oral
like they're
legend
pushing
from
it.
a nearby village
Pushing the
warned
idea.
that when the river recedes, the eye of the buried one will open again. Most locals avoided the site entirely, calling it cursed. Some even claimed their livestock grew sick after drinking from pools nearby. Geologists confirmed that the drought had lowered the Euphrates to its weakest flow in 50 years, revealing not only this temple, but several other strange depressions in the same area, suggesting a network. It raised terrifying theories. Was this temple intentionally buried to keep something locked inside? Some researchers speculated
dude.
it could be connected to the prophecy found in the Book of Revelation, which refers to 4 angels bound beneath the Euphrates, waiting to be released during the end times. Adding fuel to the mystery, infrared scans revealed intense cold spells
Oh, that's what you were talking about. You were talking about the 4 horsemen. I
deep
get it.
inside the structure, despite scorching surface temperatures. The theory: there might be sealed chambers deeper underground, untouched for millennia. The unearthed chamber and its sinister geometry. When excavation crews reached the inner sanctum of the temple, they didn't
Yeah, John Capo, of course. Of course, they're like giants and fallen angels and shit, you know? Like, they're gonna look pretty grand.
expect to find a room carved from a type of black basalt stone not native to the region. The chamber walls were unnaturally smooth, reflecting light in strange ways, almost like obsidian, but colder. In the center stood an altar-like structure, flanked by 2 upright pillars with metallic inlays that responded to magnets, even though they appeared to be stone. But it wasn't just the materials that alarmed the scientists. It was the design. The room's proportions weren't random. Mathematical analysis revealed that the dimensions aligned precisely with astronomical phenomena, the axial precession cycle of the Earth, which spans roughly 26,000 years. One corner of the chamber had a shallow groove system carved into the floor, directing liquid toward a drain. Residue analysis suggested a high iron content, consistent with blood. But this wasn't mere sacrifice. It appeared ritualistic and systematic, more like a mechanism than a ceremony. Archaeologist Dr. Leila Hassani noted in her report that the room echoed properties similar to resonance chambers found in other ancient megalithic sites like Malta's Hypogeum or Egypt's Osirian. Using frequency tests, the team discovered that certain tones...
I have 666 cars in Forza. Forza! I mean, it means that you just, are, like, a good collector, I think. I think you have too many cars, if I'm honest. But, you've got certainly plenty to pick from the next time you go for a drive. How do you hold all... Where are they? Are they in your garage?
especially in the 110 Hz range, caused subtle vibrations in the chamber walls. This tone is historically associated with altered mental states and trance-like visions in ancient rituals. On the northern...
It's always about frequency, isn't it, Nikki? It's always about frequency. See, Gnostics. Like, you're among kind of your people. I don't know. I get a lot of Gnostics in my viewer base. I don't know what the reasoning is for that, or why there's so many Christians for that matter, but you know what I'm saying? Like...
wall, a series of carvings showed a line of kneeling figures facing a larger horned entity emerging from a hole in the earth. Above them, a circular diagram showed eclipses and alignments, but using 12-pointed stars instead of the typical Mesopotamian 8-pointed symbols. Some believe this may indicate an unknown cult, possibly older than the Sumerians, with knowledge of cosmic events beyond what history allows. Even stranger? A pocket-sized stone orb was found lodged behind the altar. When extracted, it emitted a faint magnetic field, despite having no known power source. Scientists at the University of Baghdad are still trying to determine its composition. One theory...
So... the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahedo Church and the Eritrean Orthodox Tawahedo Church, those are still practicing this form of Christianity, and they fully incorporate the Book of Enoch into the Bible itself. They can tolerate heat, tighten in the sun. Is that his cars? Is that the superpower that they get when he collects 666 of them? That means Lucifer really is the morning star. We gotta tell the Christians!
suggests it may be a form of geolodestone, programmed to react with specific environmental changes.
Load.
Like a buried alarm system. The tablet no one can decipher, and the warning it carries. Behind the magnetic altar, embedded inside a cracked wall panel, a stone tablet was discovered, one that immediately stopped the excavation team in their tracks. Unlike the typical wedge-shaped cuneiform found in ancient Mesopotamia, this slab bore a hybrid script, a fusion of Sumerian, Elamite, and something completely unknown. The grooves were too precise to have been carved by hand. Some characters resembled spirals intersected by
I
horizontal...
hate it when people do shit like that. Too precise to have been carved by hand? How the fuck do you think it happened? No, you think they actually use like zero fucking point technology and lasers to do it? No! Paleolithic, assholes! Chisels. Fucking chisels on wet clay. Come on, you guys. Come on. Dear God. Dear Jesus. Jesus Christ Almighty. Jesus Odin Christ.
Horizontal ticks, almost binary in form, while others echoed serpent-like curves looping into each other, like an unbreakable knot. Initial translation efforts managed to identify only fragments, but one line, etched deeper than the rest, stood out. The watcher below must not be disturbed. The phrase repeated 7 times across the tablet, always followed by variations of a symbol, a vertical eye flanked by curling lines, often interpreted as roots or tendrils.
Oh, man.
Some believe this could refer to an underworld deity, possibly connected to the...
I was looking up the Book of Enoch, but I couldn't really find a comprehensive... So all the sources that I'm looking at say that it was claimed to have been discovered, but there's no proof of its existence. I finally had to come to Wikipedia. According to the former chief editor of the official Dead Sea Scrolls editorial team, the scroll is well preserved and microfilmed. Strugel said that he was shown the microfilm in '90 during the Kuwait crisis, but was never able to to buy it from the editorial team. So we have one person saying that it existed. And then someone from Jordan's Department of Antiquities spoke of at least 2, but it was never confirmed. You know, Odin gave his right eye for wisdom. Well, what would he give his left eye for? Sensuality? Abu Dahoud has confirmed that he and 10 other men found the cave and sold the scrolls to many different people. So, okay, apparently there's no way to confirm that any of the scrolls from the Dead Sea Scrolls that would contain Enoch passages exists. Rumored to be in possession of private investors. And then the guy from Hobby Lobby says that he bought some, but he's feeding like trickle information out. Fuck the Anunnaki, those Sumerian gods can kick rocks, so everything is basically leading to so-called prophecies. Let me cook. I think you're already cooked, man. I think you've been cooking. I think you've...
The Anunnaki, or even pre-Sumerian abomination gods, referenced only in obscure Akkadian
squarely in the roasting
Arturo
pan.
Demir, who examined the slab, compared parts of the unknown glyphs to markings found on the Gonur Tepe burial site in Turkmenistan, believed to be the cradle of the forgotten Margiana civilization. What's chilling is that both inscriptions include references to something called Ishkaru, loosely translated as the one who slumbers beneath the river.
It's Martiana, I believe, was in that article that I read. Not Margiana.
This name has no record in mainstream Mesopotamian lore. Even more unsettling, the reverse side of the tablet showed a carved diagram of the Euphrates splitting into 4 paths, encircling a circular pit in the center, suggesting a location beneath the river. Each path ends in an offering symbol: blood, fire, air, and shadow. It appears to be
How do you know? How the fuck do you know what those mean? You're just guessing. You stack up on DJI drones, heard the US be banning them, but grandfathering current ones. I don't have a drone. I'm not a drone. What would you call them? Enthusiast? I am not a drone enthusiast. I don't mind if someone gave me one. I would absolutely fly it around, because I mean, boys and their toys. But I don't think I've ever flown one. I'm pretty sure I've flown an RC airplane before, and was bad at it. My uncle immediately took the remote back from me to make sure that his baby didn't crash. I think he didn't want to hand it to me in the first place. Look up Mesopotamian flood during the time of Gilgamesh and Noah. History says there was a massive flood there. I don't think it was the whole world, but I believe the flood trapped the horsemen. I think that it's probably clear by now that I know what Gnosticism is. Probably a little more than you do. considering you didn't know what it was. So, I mean, I've heard it before. You look a lot like Trappy, the owner of TBS RC. You're like his twin, TBS RC. What the fuck is that? TV show?
Ritual map. Rumors began spreading among workers at the dig site. 2 team members reportedly refused to return.
I mean, I don't really want to promote this AI slop, so I'm not going to keep watching it, but I'm glad that we could find what you were talking about. TBS was a station. I know, Turner Broadcasting something system. Turner Broadcasting slave? Question mark? Turner Broadcasting slave.
Viewing and listening.
All right, we're back to learning how to be woke. All right, we're learning how to be woke. We have to learn how to be woke. We can't be anything other than woke anymore. So we got to learn how to be it. All right, we got to learn what woke is. We got to learn how to be it. He's bad at explaining what woke is. So here we're gonna have PragerU is gonna teach us what woke is. Okay, why is Hollywood so woke? All right, we're going to learn why Hollywood is so incredibly woke. And I'm going to spoil it for you. It's greed. It's greed. But let's make sure to speed up the video because I don't want to listen to anyone from this network for very long.
Why does Hollywood lean so far to the left? I'm an entertainment journalist and movie critic.
Just trends. That's trends. Progressive ideas are overwhelmingly popular among moviegoers and media consumers, and so therefore they would want to. It would behoove them to capitulate to whoever's word is the loudest. And it just so happens that being gay is the most popular thing in the world right now, and so everything you see is going to be gay.
Critic. So I get asked this question a lot. If Hollywood reflected America, then half of Tinseltown should be as red as it is blue. But that's not remotely the case. Why? Here are 5 reasons.
1. Because demographics like that are split among the voting public or small subsets of people which do not represent the majority of citizens in the United States, first of all. I say we look up Mesopotamian flood. Politics is useless, both sides. No, politics is pretty important. It's pretty important when they're taking away your rights.
Guilt. A-list actors are paid incredible amounts of money to play dress-up. They're ridiculously fortunate, and they know it, and they feel guilty about it. That guilt must be assuaged. And what better way to assuage it than to speak up for the less fortunate, the undocumented immigrant, the misunderstood criminal, women, blacks, gays, and the transgender too. And by God, there's an entire planet to be saved. You can't feel guilty if you're saving humanity, can you? Especially if it means no actual sacrifice on your part. 2, the need for meaning. Somewhere along the line, probably in the 60s when so many wholesome ideas went south, the notion that providing entertainment was, in and of itself, valuable, lost currency. Not with the public, but with the glitterati. Sure, acting brings money and fame, but not meaning. And meaning is much more important than both. Especially the
But you can't control your environment, you just have to live in it. Oh, that's just such a Discordian view that I would only expect a Gnostic to believe. No, you can change your environment. You get a big enough coalition formed and you can change a law. How is that not changing your environment? Get a petition signed. Like there was a petition that got signed with 900 signatures in my city and it's appearing on the ballot. That is a very easy group of people to get together and a very low number of signatures for something to be put on the ballot that will absolutely change the entire environment of the city. So yes, you can change your environment. And the bad news that I have to share with you right now is the bad people are winning. While you sit and get stoned and think there's no way I can change my environment because there's 4 fucking horsemen who are about to burst out of a sunken temple from the Euphrates, we have people who are forming their coalitions, who are saying, hey, we're going to get together and change our environment for fundamentalist Christian values in the U.S., which I'm sure might not sound so crazy to some people. I don't know if you include yourself among them, but that means taking away rights from other average human beings, which is not cool. And that may not gel with your beliefs. And if that doesn't gel with your beliefs, then you're probably going to have to start trying to change your environment. That's just what life is about, man. Like every decision that you make, every stance you take, even if you are not choosing to take a stance, you are taking a stance. And if you're being complacent, then you are complicit. Let's blaze up. No, I don't smoke that often. Damn.
Purchase it so inexpensively.
Feel free to,
All
though.
you have to do is say the right things about the right causes. That those causes always happen to be leftist ones is merely a coincidence. 3. The need to be loved. Everyone wants to be loved and admired, but most actors live to be loved and admired. Success for an actor is being adored by strangers. When stars rail against border enforcement, pro-lifers...
I'm gonna need you to wrap this up. I'm just gonna need, like, the brass tacks. Stop telling me about fucking the reasons why like this. Just sum it up.
Conservatives hate gays and minorities, deny science, and even deny that America is systemically racist, and on and on. Imagine they wail, if these haters ever gain power, we descend into fascism, or worse. This explains why celebrities get hysterical whenever the political winds shift. Hollywood activists never say, oh, we lost that one. They say, it's the end of the world. And to them, it is. Okay, I can hear you asking, why should we care what Hollywood actors think? I agree, we shouldn't care so much, but let's face it, a lot of people...
We really shouldn't. We should really stop putting celebrities on a pedestal. Celebrities from all sections of any type of creative. Like, celebrities really should not be on a pedestal. You should not be hinging your life, your social beliefs, and your cultural beliefs on something fucking Shakira or Taylor Swift says. You really should. You should not. No, sir.
People do. Stars are American royalty. And, like it or not, they have a big platform. When they take strident political positions, it further divides us. We should care because it's just plain un-American that an entire industry discriminates against those who hold a different point of view. Liberals were appalled when this happened during the anti-communist Hollywood blacklisting of the 1950s. Why aren't they appalled now? And we should care because it's tough to take all that liberal hypocrisy. No one should own guns.
Well, because it's not... That was actually used as a cudgel to replace people they didn't like in Hollywood. That's how they justified murders. That's how they justified, like, ousting people and imprisoning them. Like, it was a scary time to be an actor during the Cold War ousting period. And when people are getting ousted these days, it's usually for hateful comments. It's not for people not liking them or wanting their position in a movie or whatever, not being used as some, like, espionage tactic. As it was. Yes, this is PragerU. We're delving into purgatory for one video. Don't worry, it's just one.
But they have private security.
And we're almost at the end anyway.
Nobody should have an SUV, but they are chauffeured around in Suburbans. CO2 emissions are destroying the...
Yeah, you know, it's possible to have a stance and still have a higher standard of living. Like, just because you are making millions of dollars a year and doing the wrong thing in other situations doesn't mean that you can't still speak out against injustices. You can still do that. It's actually better if a celebrity does that because they have a much bigger platform and more people will listen to them. Idiots.
The planet. They fly to Cannes or just across town in their private jets. Yes, we could stop going to their movies and turn off their TV shows. But what we really want is for them to do what they do best and what brings people together in laughter and tears.
I can agree with that. I think actors should really just act. I don't think that we should be looking to them for political advice, but people do.
Them to act. Oh, how we would love them if they just did that. I'm Christian Toto, founder of HollywoodInToto.com and author of Virtue Bombs, How Hollywood Got Woke and Lost Its Soul from Prager University. Thank you.
No, it's just PragerU. You're not actually a university. Like, PragerU is not a university. It's not an accredited institution. It's not even a school. It's a section of courses that are mostly online these days. So I wouldn't go around calling PragerU a university in any capacity. Nor is it an educational body.
Well,
so tell me, okay, is this guy putting on an act? Is he putting on an act? Just call it now. Tell me, let me know. Is he putting on an act? Let's figure this out. Let's get to the bottom. Let's dissect this. All right. I am a very good visual reader of people, so I think I've already got it figured out, and I'm usually right. Okay. I swear I didn't pre-watch this, but just take a look at this and tell me, do you think that this is all an act? Do you think he's satirizing anything?
Hello, denizens. Today, I'm reviewing Citizen Vigilante, director, writer Uwe Boll's very controversial revenge fantasy film starring Armie Hammer.
And let's stop it there. It's already starting spicy. Armie Hammer, of all people, who said that he fantasized about eating people, which is fine. No shade, you know. But he got kind of canceled for it, right? In that Hollywood just didn't like that he was talking about eating babies. And then you know, I think he was being sexually aggressive with either a makeup person or like a coworker or something like that. Whatever. Point is, he was like, you know, persona non grata in Hollywood for a bit. And he started to come back on arguably questionable platforms. And now he's been on a couple podcasts, but I think he's mostly been on a marketing tour for this movie. And I think he's still dreaming about eating babies. I would think this is why one of the many reasons why we shouldn't worship celebrities. What do cannibals think about people? That they're all good. But so that's already kind of the first red flag that this is maybe not going to be a good presentation to support. But Uwe Boll also was kind of canceled and is now part of these. I think, what is it, like Turnkey? Is it Turnkey Productions or Keyhole or something like that? Key Loop or Keyhole or whatever the fuck. And then Angel Studios. So like these outfits that are typically more fundamentally chuddish than their competitors. But this one, I believe, released on a major platform. I don't remember if it got to a major platform, but I think it did, and that's kind of a big thing for this particular one, or for this particular group of people. Fish tacos can be tasty, but not that kind of eat. Come on, man.
In a strange way, it felt very much a part of the anti-Hollywood wave we seem to be experiencing. When you take Citizen Vigilante, Iron Lung, Backrooms, Obsession, and compare them to the movies meant to be, you know, rebellious, like Scary Movie 6, the most recent Naked Gun, the latter two still have that, what I call the Hollywood puke all over them. As if it's no longer possible to make something relevant within the Hollywood system. I don't know if you're feeling the same thing I am. And don't get me started on the one battle after another, that Hollywood cumfest. It's hard to put a finger on it, but I'm just not getting drawn into the movies.
What'd you say?
One battle after another, that Hollywood cumfest. It's hard.
I'm sorry. No, I've heard it's good too, but I haven't seen it yet. What the fuck did he just say? Let's turn on captions for that. Oh. Okay.
No longer possible to make something relevant within the Hollywood system. I don't know if you're feeling the same thing I am. And don't get me started on the one battle after another, that Hollywood cumfest. It's hard to put a finger on it, but I'm just not getting drawn into the movies the way I used to.
That's an interesting use of language in a video on YouTube, but we'll allow it.
It's a weird thing to say, but I'm just not feeling the magic. There are exceptions. I forgave much of Dune's shortcomings because of its cinematic experience that drew me in. Project Hail Mary was great. That classic. I know what I'm getting. Magic was there in Top Gun Maverick. Companion gave me a wonderful tingle, but not many other movies have. No one will accuse the 61-year-old Uwe Boll of rolling with the YouTube pirates, but no one is going to accuse Boll of being part of the system either. And Citizen Vigilante is definitely not covered in that Hollywood puke. A lot of praise has been heaped on it because it addresses a topic that the traditional left would never dare to engage: violence linked to migrants and failures in the justice system. Army's character Sanders, a former U.S. Army officer living in Europe, becomes...
Right, which is really only being propagandized. I would say that it's not happening any more than any other demographic. Immigration Policy Institute. What? Immigrants in the U.S. commit crimes at lower rates than the U.S.-born population. Not only do they commit fewer crimes, they also do not raise crime rates. Everything I'm seeing, Data snapshot. Lower crime rates in communities, more unauthorized immigrants. Well, it's because you don't want the police coming around, you know? Like you can't fucking afford that. Boy, you really have an appropriate username, don't you? What about the Pakistani grooming gangs in the UK? What the fuck do you mean? I don't care about the UK. I'm in the US. I don't give a shit about anything outside the US for the topics of discussion today.
Frustrated with the system and decides to take out the trash. In that regard, it's very much like Death Wish. His brutal actions gain massive public support and turn him into a social media hero sensation, with many viewing him as a necessary force for justice. However, law enforcement, led by Interpol, sees him as a dangerous threat and pursues him. It's a low-budget affair, very much in the vein of a
you know, because vigilante justice is usually illegal in most cases.
Roger Corman film. Many people have been comparing Citizen Vigilante to Sound of Freedom, Hollywood's most hated film about child trafficking that went on to make more.
You'll be going over the star? What do you mean? Like they don't like Millie Alcock? I think, yeah, they love her when she's, you know, being exploited on House of the Dragons and then turned into Queen, but then they don't like it when she's playing Supergirl. Weird.
Than $250 million on a budget of $14 million. Boy, would Warners love a movie about a female superhero with that cost-to-profit ratio, or any kind of profit. But at least Sound of Freedom made it broadly to theaters. Citizen Vigilante is available only at select theaters and on VOD. But my guess is that CV was made for far less than even Sound of Freedom. And while it looks excellent for its budget, carried on the broad shoulders of Armie Hammer, the Hollywood outcast who is extremely charismatic in it, there are a couple of set pieces that thoroughly pissed me off in their
Yeah, you know, he made all those comments about eating babies, but I think he's so handsome that we should just let him continue to just be the way that he is. You know? Keep putting him in movies. Totally.
Can I put it? There was no way that would have happened. They are so laughably clumsy and impossible. I don't know what Uwe was thinking. There's also a sequence that is painfully extended because I believe it was the only way to hit the 90-minute mark. All he needed to do was toss in one or two more random vigilante moments. It didn't need to be connected to any of the revenge setups. We just like seeing revenge. Like, why not? Who wouldn't want more trash taken out? Anyway, apart from those two unfortunate glaring events, the rest of the movie is as entertaining as you'd think it would be for any of you not living under a...
You see, I'm not far off from this guy. You see, like, we look kind of alike. I'm not far off from this guy. Did Michael Jackson do it? Do what? Paste pictures of little boys on naked models in pornographic magazines? Of which they found quite a bunch. I don't know that he did anything that wasn't outside of the scope of that. But I know that the controversy was highly sensationalized, and I know that there are just as many accounts of that the two accusers making it up as there are of them being completely legitimate. So, I don't know. All I know is what they found when they raided his home, and that ain't healthy. It's like, you know, did Armie Hammer actually eat a baby? We can't tell. There's probably no DNA evidence left. But he certainly talked about it. And shouldn't that be enough? Shouldn't that be like, okay, dude, well, we don't really want to hang out with you anymore. You know, like, you want to eat babies? What did they find? I never heard about that. There's an article probably floating around about it. I'd Google it if I were you. Pictures of young men pasted onto naked bodies in adult magazines. Found at MJ's house of residence when he was when they were going through his stuff after he died, or it might have been during the raid when they when he first was accused. I'm not sure.
Iraq, following the news, horrified at the migrant crimes and not just the inability of the system to deal with it, but the willful hiding of the horrific crimes in case the establishment is accused of racism, tolerance.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're both simultaneously saying that they were hiding numbers, yet we all see ICE through the streets throughout the last year and a half. So I don't know why you think that's a good point to make. It's literally anyone knows that that's not true. So I'm not sure why they would be hiding those numbers. Like Macaulay? No, he wasn't part of that. He swore up and down that he was not part of that. Like Macaulay's face on Arnold's body. No, it would be someone else's face. Like, I don't know, just people that he would cut out of other magazines. And he would put, like, young men that he, like, illegally young men that he would post, that he would cut out the head picture of and paste onto women in pornographic magazines. Instead of the woman's head, he would put... And we don't... I can't say that he would. I can only say that that's what was found at his property. Was magazines that had that in it.
Was never meant to avoid responsibility. Uwe is literally ripping the headlines out of the papers and putting them into Citizen Vigilante. You can tell from the setups and dialogue that we are hearing Boll's frustration, especially in his home country of Germany, which has banned his movie from theatrical distribution. There would have been no other way to make this film other than as a B-movie with a B-movie budget. Ironically, the darling of the left, director Costa Gavras, made meticulous...
I went back and you made a correlation with the movie and crimes committed by immigrants, but you searched US. The movie is set in Europe. Okay. So in Europe, there's roving gangs of Pakistani people who are grooming people? Or I guess in the UK? I mean, it's set in Europe. So I assume that you're saying that this is true across the entire area? Aaron Carter said that MJ never did anything weird around him. All right. I mean, yeah, and people defend P. Diddy as well. Doesn't mean anything. Didn't even search right. I mean, I don't know or care much about where the movie was set. So, I don't know why you think that's an own.
Expensive thrillers where the villain was typically an authoritarian government, police state, and deep state conspiracy. While Citizen Vigilante is being vilified by left-wing critics, it is clearly about the exact same things, except it's closer to Charles Bronson's Death Wish, and even Michael Douglas's Falling Down.
And also, just so you know, he's talking about migrant crime in the U.S. Just so you're aware.
I watched that again, not to...
And the majority of people who watch this film will be based in the U.S. Just so you know, especially since it was banned in the country that it's... in the country that it's based in? Was it based in Germany? So, again, I'm not sure why you think any of this is an own or a win of any kind.
Too long ago, and I thought, boy, they'd never make that movie today. Isn't that what Hollywood has become? It seems like whenever cinephiles get together to discuss favorite movies these days, we inevitably remark, boy, they'd never make that today. And who knows? Maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah, because, you know, times change, things evolve, concepts evolve, and people become more aware of, you know, different things that happen in our society, and they decide that they want to either cover it or they don't. Things were edgy back in the, you know, 1970s and 80s, and now not so much anymore. That's understandable. People move on from those concepts. Record label companies.
Maybe it was impolite of Boll to have made Citizen Vigilante. No one in power wants a mirror held up to their actions or lack thereof. Society seems to have been taken over by left-wing totalitarianism, even though you'll find governments of both left and right stripes. I don't think Citizen Vigilante is a great film, but it is cathartic and absolutely relevant. More relevant than that fake Anti-Ice Academy Award winner. It's got a very high Rotten Tomatoes public rank.
Anti-Ice Academy Award winner? What was the Anti-Ice Academy Award winner? Anti-Ice Academy Award winner. International feature film? I don't get it. Which film are we talking about? It's called Melted? Is that what it's called? I feel like that's a stupid name. This guy got a lot to say about nothing. Are you referring to me? I don't really say a lot in general. Well, I try to keep it entertaining, but I tend to let the videos speak for themselves.
Is the movie going to...
But the guy on the screen, he spent the last 7 minutes definitely just talking about nothing.
To rile up the wrong people to do the wrong things? Look, I hope not. That's the fear, of course, but Citizen Vigilante...
But it could be us both, you know? we could both just be pointless human beings. You know? Maybe that's just our role.
Would not exist if politicians and the judicial
Wouldn't
system...
that be comforting? If you just knew that your only reason to be on this earth was just to exist? Ah, that'd be so peaceful.
Just did their jobs. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.
Okay. So we talked about crime. We talked about how...
Hello, denizens. With
No.
great caution, I'm announcing that perhaps the tide is turning when it comes to the movie making and movie watching
My Microsoft Edge had
We all know that sequels don't
gone and fucked itself.
usually do very well, but we all know that sequels don't usually do very well, but the far left is giving it a shot with Woke 2. According to Vanity Fair, the woke mob is rebranding their radical ideology. It consists of fewer pronouns and less...
Again, just being aware of systemic injustice really is not radical. I mean, I would say that wanting entire groups of people to not exist anymore would be pretty radical, because they do exist. How are you going to enforce that? If someone passes a law saying that transgender people aren't allowed to exist, how are you going to enforce that? They do exist. You're going to throw them into camps? What are you going to do? Jail them? What are you going to do?
fixation on transgender issues, while focusing more on
See? Yep. It's always about the transgender issues.
obstructing ICE and dressing up in ridiculous costumes. But they gloss over the violent streak of Woke 2, in which mobs storm the streets to assault ICE agents. Instead, they're hoping they can brainwash the public into thinking it's all about love and compassion.
How many ICE agents got killed by violent protesters? How many? How many of them? Because I know that Renee Good and Alex Preddy are two people who got killed by violent ICE agents. How many ICE agents died from violent protesters? I'd love to know. It would be great to just know that figure right now. Oh, none? Oh, weird.
Athletes.
Now, bear with me here. All right. I might actually agree with a lot of stuff that's said in the next 19 minutes. Well, that'll be really quick. We'll make it quick. All right. I might actually agree with some of this stuff, because I will all see. That's the thing. I'm not afraid to look at my own side and say, okay, some of the things you're doing are pretty ridiculous, especially if we're talking TikToks. Some dude was suing the government because ICE agents paid him a visit after criticizing them. Fuck ICE, man. Like, they're such whiny little babies. It's all the Gen 6ers who got pardoned. They went right away, and like the 1%er, or it's the 1% or 2%, whatever the fuck. Are you not afraid of losing your citizenship? No. It's not like it was in 1940s Germany. Like, or 1930s Germany. Like, they're not roving the streets, like, trying to abduct people. Not yet, anyway. We have gotten to the point of papers, please, at a few different points in most recent memory, but we haven't quite gotten to actual authoritarian, fascism yet.
Will have to pass a one-time genetic test to compete in women's categories.
Good. Spit on turf. J.K. Rowling is a... Oh, that'll show her. As you may know, people are becoming more and more comfortable distorting reality as long as it protects their feelings or reinforces their side. We've seen people...
I think this girl's going to be nasty. I think she is going to be nasty to these people. I feel like she is going to be... Look at her eyes. Like... damn. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear it.
Redefining terms, deciding who is allowed to speak even, or engaging in performative activism that accomplishes absolutely nothing.
Well, no. If someone made a TikTok response to you and said, you're not allowed to speak anymore, you could still make a response to that. Even if they downvoted all your videos, you could still make a response to that. Nobody's ruining your livelihood for expressing your opinion. That's a straw man. That's what's called a straw man.
So we're going to take a look at some examples today, and we're going to start with some fat activists.
I know a lot of fat...
My stance on this is pretty simple. I don't, as long as you're not unhealthy, then then you shouldn't feel bad about doing what you're doing. But even if you're unhealthy, you shouldn't feel bad about doing what you're doing. Like, other people's business has nothing to do with you. Like, everyone should just mind their own fucking business and stop trying to pass laws that don't allow people to be fat. Or at least they're trying to push health education in schools, which is way more way more intolerant than you would hope. So many people who are overweight and who feel self-game end worthy over it would be helped by fat acceptance, and none of these skinny people are hurt by fat acceptance. Does that make sense? It benefits people who are in the group, and it doesn't hurt anyone who is outside of the group. So there's no reason for anyone to dislike it. Or even if you're witnessing somebody killing themselves, that is their right. You have no right to protect them against their will. That is exactly the type of removal of agency that Christians fucking love. That's not freedom, that's not agency, that's not free will. Like, that's just people like trying to control other people. What about airplane seats? What about airplane seats, Rawlin? What the hell are you talking about?
Folks in my sphere like to reclaim the word fat instead of using words like morbid or obese. I know that there's...
See, I feel like I'm going to agree with her. No. There are a lot of people on my side of the aisle that are ridiculous and performative, and it's because they've been so repressed. It's because if you fucking people actually accepted them the way that they were in the first place, they wouldn't have to go and make me cringe on TikTok. God damn it. This is all your faults. All your faults, you anti-wokeists. How dare you create this atmosphere that I now have to live in?
a new movement going around in like the body acceptance.
Sir, if I'm miserable, it's cute you think you can live a peaceful life. I mean, you can make other people's life hell if you want. That's your right. Go ahead.
Here, that is called categories, and what it describes is the different levels of privilege you have based on how fat you are.
Dude, she can't even talk without running out of breath. We're worried about the categories, and who's allowed to say fat? There are bigger issues here, literally.
See, okay, like that's the thing. Like, there's definitely like bigoted ideas. Like, you can't even say that without running out of. Like, do you have to make a comment? She knows she's fat. She's talking about being fat. You don't have to continue that. Like, it's bad enough that they think this about themselves. What makes you a bad person is that you're willing to say, yup, yeah, you're fucking fat, dude. That's not helping anybody. It actually drives people who are in self-game end mode further into it.
I'm going to do my best to not use the O word because I find it pretty offensive. So I'm going to use fat-bodied.
Wait.
Offense? Ostrich. Osteopathy. Oh, obese? Nah.
Wait, genuinely, who cares? If that is an accurate word in this case.
I mean, I kind of, oh, man. See, I told you I'm going to agree with her. Oh, my God. When she's like, I don't like using the O word because I consider it offensive. I like fat-bodied. What? Obese is just again, it's just a word used to define your current state of being. It's not a judgment on you. Using a word that is not historically meant to marginalize people doesn't mean that you're getting marginalized all of a sudden just because you don't like the word. Oh my God. We are the biggest babies. Like, underneath it all, like, we project the biggest image of crying babies, but the right is the most extreme crying baby example. You know what I mean? Like,
this is a whole discussion about obesity with Jillian, who I, by the way, agree with on many things. So the word obese is gonna come up.
Literally just having too much body fat. It has nothing to do with the quality of the person.
I want to ask you right now to stop using obese and be a part of that.
Fucking Christ. And then it really does devolve into this kind of thing where it is the my way or the highway thing. No, why can't you just do it? Why can't now that's offensive. You're being offensive. You know what I mean? Like, it devolves into something like that. Just this shouting match over morals.
You want obese is a slur.
Obese is a slur.
It's not. It's a medical term, and it has not been used historically as a slur. So you can't just all of a sudden designate it as a slur because you're removing people's ability to say a very important word that references what you might be. And if you don't want to hear that, that's fine. But you not wanting to hear that, you specifically resisting hearing that, means you probably need therapy. I love the frame that I paused it on. Not the most flattering, and probably not what this creator intended. What's up, Patrick? Don't call anybody obese here. That's a slur. The biggest issue is that people aren't listening to God. I mean, politics are what reflects society. It's a scam. I would agree with you that it's a scam, but it's more of a Ponzi scheme rather than an illusion. Politics exists. It very much shapes the world that we live in, because if we have to be a member of society and accept all the social contracts that go with that, that means we have to operate within the confines of what laws and policies are. And since we, citizens of this country, have the opportunity to define what those policies are, that means that all the decisions that we make, all the stances that we make or don't take, are political. And so therefore, our entire existence is political. We are required by cosmic law to engage with politics nearly every day of our life. I don't want to leave it here.
First of all, no, it is not. Obese is not an insult necessarily. It's just a clinical descriptor, right? It's used
I know, I agree. I'm sorry, I agree. I'm sorry, she's a chud, but I agree.
medicine. It exists for diagnostic clarity, right? There needs to be distinction between fact and your feelings. Precision is what allows people to make...
Yes, but I don't like the trope. I agree, but I don't like the facts don't care about your feelings thing, because that's stupid.
informed decisions about their health. So you're not allowing that precision because you find the word triggering, but you can't meaningfully address a problem if you refuse to name it.
You are fat. I don't want to hear your opinion on anything.
And that's true. That's true. I agree with her. Fuck. Oh no. I've seen some of her other videos. She has some wild takes.
Activist and you're out of shape. You can't run a mile. You can't do a pull-up. I'm not going to take you seriously. It's as simple as that.
I disagree here because somebody's body has no bearing on their ability to analyze policy, let's say, right? Economics. Dismissing them in general, right, on that basis doesn't make sense. Now, if we were talking
True.
about...
Now that would be what fat phobia is, right? Whose bones are top on a sweater? Who buttons? Oh, you're asking who buttons the top button on a sweater. Hey, come on. I kind of like, I kind of like doing the top button thing. Maybe that's like the very small remnant of cholo in my heritage and cultural descent. Cultural expression. And it looks good on me. Sweaters? I don't know. I don't think I like it. Did it make it too conservative?
Not like an obese fitness trainer.
You need some kind of neckline.
For example, that would be one thing. Technically, he or she could still know what works and what doesn't work, right, and how to help a person. But in that case, you'd probably
it's not your brain doesn't slow down because you're fat. That's ridiculous.
To take advice from someone who motivates you because
I button the top button. I mean, I like it. Kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it makes me look too much like I'm trying to be a cholo. But like I grew up that way. I grew up buttoning only the top button on my flannel shirts. If you button the top button, you have to leave all the other buttons unbuttoned. No, that's what it's like. Yeah, you got to do that. And it has to be an extra thick flannel shirt. While you're wearing an Angels ball cap. Ooh, God, don't let anyone catch you wearing an Angels ball cap. Outside of Anaheim. Not even in Anaheim. You just have the wrong hat to pull off the top button? Nah, dude, like the 5 panels are the only ones I can wear. I have a big head. Otherwise the regular ones don't fit me. I don't want a high forehead. Know what I mean? I needed to sit squat. Holy shit, I thought you were Fantano. I would consider that a compliment. So, thank you.
because it's all about fitness and health. So a morbidly obese person is
Pretty much, anyone with a bigger, who's not a chud, with a bigger audience than me, I'd consider it an example or a compliment. Love you, Goose. You are the best. No, you're the best.
not going to be healthy. If they're just like a fat individual and they're talking about something completely unrelated, or even if they are talking about weight, but they are saying, you know what, I'm fat, I don't really want to change, but I do know that being overweight is unhealthy, and also I'm not going to try to police your language and say that you can't use the word obese ever, then that person would be 100% correct.
Black people are always stereotyped as ghetto, violent, and criminal, and yet white people are never stereotyped as...
Why do y'all never talk about your own people?
Did you cut it off halfway through? What happened? I don't know what happened. Was that a TikTok thing? 758. God damn! Jesus! Thank you for returning, Daddy Dom's Day. I appreciate it. That was nice of you to do to my ears, and to anyone else who's here with headphones on. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servant, agents of wrath that bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Yeah. That feels too regimented for me, you know, too rigid. No hate,
Yeah,
I just saw a resemblance. I mean, like I said, I consider it a compliment. I don't, he hasn't said anything that seems hateful or bigoted from any of the clips that I've seen. I don't typically watch his content, but I think he does mostly, music reviews? But someone who I debated one time tried calling me Fantano, and I was like, why, I don't know who that is. And then they used a thumbnail of his picture to try and hijack his fame while he was on a debate with me, with my face on the camera. I was like, dude, come on, man. Like, that's such a slimy, weird thing to do.
They stereotype Asians too. You could have listed some of those.
This one's interesting because it's like woke versus woker. There are plenty of like Asian creators who talk about stereotypes they've noticed, you know, directed at the Asian community, but this woman decided to talk about the way black people are stereotyped, but that actually was offensive. You know, in the comments, most people seem to be agreeing with her. She's literally defending us when I want to be offended. That's the problem with a lot of these people. Silence is violence. But also...
You know what I mean? Like, she's kind of a chud, but not a chud. Like, isn't that weird? Like, she's like chud light. I heard, very recently, Brett Cooper talk about Trump time traveling, about Trump's son Barron being like a time traveler from the future, I guess. I don't know. He was a time traveler. And she was, because this person has had some crazy takes in some videos that I've seen. She doesn't seem to be like, and I've watched other videos where she seems completely benign. See, like, okay, like what is a lesbian? It's like talking about if normal lesbians are welcome at Pride. That's a very big issue in the gay community. So like, I'm in a fucking Twilight Zone episode. She's conflicting in my brain. Oh, I get it. It's because she's gay. I get it. Okay. I get it. It's because she's gay. We all know some lesbians. All right? No further explanation is needed. Honestly. If you know a lesbian, you've probably seen some of the TikToks of some people just being very upset at woke culture, and sometimes they happen to be that part of the culture, and that's fine.
Yeah, I want.
You can feel whatever you want. I think she's too young to know what she wants to be. She'll be scissoring in no time. Okay. You look Jewish. The fact that you would think that would be an insult is hilarious. I don't see that as an insult. I hope you don't either. I hope you're just saying that I look Jewish, which I'm not. Mostly of Eastern European descent and Latino. I'm never friends with lesbians. They're weird. See, you heard it from a gay guy. You shouldn't be friends with lesbians. It's not an indictment on lesbianism, nor is it an indictment on lesbians on an individual basis, but there is a lot of drama in that particular part of the community, typically over relational dynamics. And a lot of that ties into politics, about like when there's weird or abnormal views in terms of politics incongruous with the community in which they're a part of. We are so back. Yeah, I don't like that sound. I definitely don't like it. I definitely don't like it. If I had to just give my my honest opinion, it definitely sends violent spasms up my spine. Is my assessment. All right, what are these guys talking about? Does woke ideology lead to anti-Semitism? All right, guys, what do you think? Does woke ideology lead to anti-Semitism? Does an anti-racist, inclusive, and equity... I know it's my sound. And equitable ideology. Does that lead to anti-Semitism? God damn. God damn. It's easier to go through a camel of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God. I mean, if Hitler's up there, I do not want to be... God fucking damn it, shit! I'm pretty sure they all have the same sound. It reminds me of the Steve Austin intro. What is that? He's I like a beer. I want a beer. What was it? What was his thing? I need a beer. Give me a Coors. I need a silver bullet. Sponsored by Coors.
I want to just ask you, and this is, I don't know if it's controversial, but it seems to me that if you take the
ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Steve Austin national anthem. Let me try it with the volume down. I took the earbud out, so I'm ready. I'm ready whenever you are. I can't hear what they're saying now. Chugging beer and flipping people off. Yeah, I remember that. Isn't he the one that DDT'd? You can hear it. Isn't he the one that DDT'd Vince McMahon? Yeah, that's loud. Yeah, thank you. It's loud. That's extremely loud.
Progressive / woke ideas to their logical conclusion,
okay,
you would be anti-Semitic. Meaning,
oh, okay, not bearing the lead. Let's get into it.
If you judge, it's a group identity.
He's about to answer this in this entire short. So we're going to learn everything we need to know about how woke ideology leads to anti-Semitism. Let's do it.
Judgment thing. And if you look at groups of identities and you say, if a group is successful, and it seems to me that that is the only criteria, if there's a discrepancy of outcomes, it must mean that there is institutional racism. So if blacks, for example, in America are poorer than on average than whites, it must mean that the whites are being advantaged by institutional racism, and therefore the blacks have no agency, and they are being, institutionally discriminated against. And so, if you take that to the Jews are, in America at least, disproportionately richer. They are more educated. Their families are stay together more. They have strong communities. They're in politics, academia, media, Hollywood, all these things. They have overrepresentation. And so if you look at it from the lens of the progressive, at least in the way that it's presented nowadays in mass media and academia, there's I would be an anti-Semite if that was the way I thought of the world.
Yeah, because that's evidence of what happens when you begin with a false premise. Everything that follows is false, and you just compound the folly. And that's a perfect example. The false premise that the woke have started with is that inequality of outcome is evidence of racism or some sort of discrimination within the system. And that's been said explicitly by critical race theorists and those who have followed them. People like Ibram X. Kendi. I mean, he said any inequality of outcome is evidence of racism. He said it quite explicitly. So that's false.
Come on, man. Purposefully mischaracterizing the arguments of entire movements of people is just as slimy as making disingenuous comments of your own. You're lying to just make your own point. People have often said that unequal outcomes are, or unequal outcomes are evidence of racism within the context of the discussion of systemic racism. Like, they're not just talking about in general. It just means that, oh, all of a sudden it's racism. That's not the fuck what it means. The system is not perfect. It will collapse someday. Okay, hold your breath.
False. It's not true. And there are all sorts of reasons why outcomes can be different, and there are different trends among different groups. But this ideology has informed absolutely everything.
I want to just ask you, and this is, I don't know if it's
I have to watch it again because I don't know where he proved that being woke is somehow anti-Semitic. Jesus. DEI is racism. No, it's not. Systemic racism against white people. No, it's not. You can't be racist against a white person. And not all the majority of Hispanics are not white. You're talking about people from Spain? We don't discriminate against people from Spain. And nor, I mean, if you're historically white, then you are historically on the side of the oppressor. And so, therefore, it's all good. Everyone who isn't black, gay, or woman. Yeah, no, you know, DEI actually covers white people too, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's inclusion for everyone. So it's, if you're here as a white person and everyone else is here, DEI just brings everybody up here. Damn. That's all it is. That's all DEI is. You guys make it a boogeyman. You guys make it this monster, and it's not. That's not what it is. It's just people have been down here, which is, you know, blacks, gays, and women's, as you so eloquently pointed it out. It's just bringing them up to here. That's all feminism is too. You know, women historically make less than men. All feminism is just whoop, bringing them right. Whoop, whoop. You see that? It's a level. It's just a level field right here. And with DEI, different groups go like whoop right there, and so now they're level. And then women with feminism go whoop, and there you go. Oh, it's all level. Now we're all on a level playing field. There you go. That's DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. That means inclusion for all. Crazy, right? Wrong form of the word your, but okay. And uninformed. No, I'm probably more informed than you are. Racism isn't colorblind. Everyone can be racist target. No, I'm not saying that you can't be racist against specific white descendants, you know, like Scottish. I don't know, if you're Irish, you can probably be racist against Scottish, but I don't know why you would, but you could be. But that's like, you know, you could say white on white crime. But historically, white people are the oppressors if we are referring to anything having to do with the US of A and its entire record of ethnic cleansing and genocides. You got to kind of contend with that if you want to say that, you know, DEI is somehow racist against white people. You got to contend against a pretty big mountain of evidence that says otherwise. Pilate had a notice prepared and fastened to the cross. It read, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. Okay. DEI has systematically caused conflict with merit-based promotions. You're not wrong. I would say that the concern... go fuck yourself for that sound. The concern of being somehow persecuted over not being inclusive does, in fact, color a lot of different people's actions when talking about promotions and things. In that case, yeah, people are fallible. People can, you know, overcompensate and completely overcorrect into the wrong direction. But that doesn't mean anything in terms of whether or not DEI is effective. And it can be a clumsy system. I'm not saying that any system that we make is perfect, but we need to work on them, not get rid of them entirely. Because there are still racists who do still use their own biases to either hire or not hire. And people have to be protected against that. So, wrong form of the word your again. Arguing based on, I just want to make sure I got Patrick's message there. Yep, okay, sorry. Your, sorry, again, that is the wrong form of the word your. It's Y-O-U-R-E. arguing based on white privilege whether or not you can be a victim of racism. But buddy, you think Joe Schmo working at McDonald's had any power in what our system is? No. Right. The system affects us all. Right? That's what inclusion means. It's not racist against whites. You're misunderstanding the entire basis of it. Again, it just takes, here's white people, here's everybody else. DEI just goes like that. That's it. That's all it does. You're making it way too complicated. Whoop. And I would think that as a conscientious community member, if you hear that people are being systematically oppressed and that there's this whole network of institutional racism that exists in our country, and you decide you don't want to do anything about that because fuck them, then, I mean, you know, you're not exactly an ally. Nor a productive community member, right? And I'm arguing based on white privilege, whether or not you can be the victim of racism. Yeah. Again, if you know that systemic racism or institutionalized racism is happening and you do nothing to stop it, or if you even help perpetuate it, and if hearing about that doesn't stir anything within you, then one could argue that that's based on white privilege, sure. But it's not the plight of every, you know, white man, I guess, right? I don't know why you would think that that's what I'm arguing. All I'm arguing is that, and I can really just boil this down to like a pretty succinct statement. I just believe that everyone deserves an equal chance to have a long and happy life. And whatever the government can do to help, I'm down. As long as it's actually like help, I'm into it. And that's the thing, if DEI helps one marginalized person get into a position they otherwise wouldn't have obtained through skill alone, then, I mean, I'm into it. Especially when you can back it up with a lot of like relevant data that shows that people are still biased and do still hire and promote based on biases. In a capitalist environment, we have no room to work on the plane because the plane is currently in flight. That being said, systemafi? Oppression has no resolution point. It's either we oppress or we are oppressed. No. It's not survival of the fittest out there, man. We got together and we formed civilizations. The monkey brain is gone. You need to just cooperate within society. Because you can't very well fix and fly the plane at the same time. Yeah, you can. If you have people who are skilled enough to crawl out on the wing and start doing some repairs in real time, you absolutely can. But the problem is we don't have anyone like that in charge. I'll be at the cookout eating my oxtail and... Oh, damn, dude. Don't fucking tempt me, man. Ooh, oxtail and greens. God fucking damn, dude. You're really speaking my language. I am now realizing I'm very hungry. And it's 2. It's actually an hour later than we were supposed to go. So thank you guys for sticking around that long. Remember, this is the last stream. This is the last stream ever. It's the last stream. I'm kidding. We're actually just moving to evenings. We're moving to evenings. 5 o'clock is when we're going to start. Starting tomorrow. We're going to be talking about shitty food. Again, stupid food. I think that's a good, easy, gentle topic to run out the gate with. Although last evening that we did stupid food, nobody showed up, but I got faith. If not, then we'll go back to something like this. This tends to get the people in. You know? In and talking. I love the discussion. Gosh darn it. You know? Here's to more. Here's to more. And thanks for being my new friend, Special. You've definitely made it a day. And I enjoy that, thank you. And Daddy Doomsday, the monkey brain is gone. You just need to cooperate with us in some way. That itself proves the monkey brain is alive and well, right? No. Meaning that we've moved beyond primitive needs. We now need to cooperate as a civilization. As people who, you know, think and feel and all want and have needs and ambitions and dreams and stuff. You got to respect that. If you expect people to respect your dreams and ambitions and goals and all that kind of stuff, you got to turn around and do the same shit for your neighbor. And that means sometimes paying it forward, even when it's uncalled for. You know, takes a village, man. It's the idea of assimilate or you will be opposed. But that people aren't like that. We can defend ourselves against the people who are like that. We don't have to be like that ourselves. We can be better than that. Inherently, we can just be better. The worst part about being a male white person is realizing that a marginalized person was able to get in, go further than I was because I was lazy and ignorant. That happens. I'm lazy and ignorant a lot, and people often don't know that I'm a member of a minority because I don't look like one. So there you go. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day. I will see you not tomorrow morning, but I will see you at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow evening, where we will be talking about stupid food. Some really shitty recipes. I'm going to do a lot of research. I'm going to try and get a lot of TikToks. I'm going to try and aim for like full recipes where they're just super wrong. Just like, and they go through the whole thing and they're like trying to be all Michelin star and shit. If you didn't know, I'm a chef. Damn, dude. Nature itself doesn't prove anything, but okay. Nature itself proves that we are fated to split and have factions. Okay. Biology shows this in the way that multicellular organisms exist. That has nothing to do with social behavior. I know that you want to try and correlate molecular behavior with social behavior, but you're gonna have to make a pretty good case. But do that tomorrow. All right, do that tomorrow at 5 p.m. I've been Goose. Please subscribe, please. It's really meaningful to me when you guys subscribe. I really appreciate it. And throw a like on the video. You know, share it. Share this wonderful screen. I'll even show you guys my dancing. There you go. Enjoy that. There's my dancing. Please enjoy. There you go. Look at that. Enjoy my dancing. God damn it! Shit! It's very loud. It's very loud. It's a very loud noise in my ears. Woo! All right, thanks again, guys. Love you too, Patrick. Have a good day. Bye, guys.